final couple of hours of, hey, guess what? It's positive again, right across the board for not only the S&P, but the NASDAQ as we head through the afternoon here. A few areas of interest. I'll give you two that are contrasting each other right now. SOXL here, which is following chips, semiconductors, up 1.5%. Nice day for some individual semiconductors. This is oil right now. Yeah, down almost 3%. Just bounced off day lows there once again around that 85, 75 area. But straight downside again. This is a 5-minute chart, so 2 days in a row here. You go back to Friday for oil futures, back to negative. Here is the S&P 500 as a whole. Remember, CVX has that acquisition this morning. They announced 3% downside for them. XOM, though, everything else basically red anyway as oil continues to slide. Health services under a bit of pressure here as well. UNH, what is that? ELV, also down 1.5%. But negativity coming from those two groups primarily. There are a few of the banks downside as well, namely BAC, Wells Fargo, and Morgan Stanley. JP Morgan red as well, but nowhere near as much. As far as healthcare stocks specifically, we were touching on that Pfizer move earlier today, just before we ended this morning. Big pop in Pfizer. There was a New York Times article that suggested Viagra will have a 60%, or it's 60% effective in preventing Alzheimer's. So Pfizer to the upside to the tune of 1.3% this afternoon. There's chips specifically. That's why I was showing you SOXL there. 3.6% for NVIDIA. AMD not so much. Intel not so much either. They're positive, but only just. Apple, Google, Microsoft, Meta. Big days heading into earnings week for all of them this week. It's going to be an important week for the overall market, going to be an important week for big tech specifically. We were touching on Apple this morning, if you're with us in the pre-market. Back to positive here for Apple today after a nice gap to the downside. Earnings to come this week. There was a note from Chinese regulators and Chinese government suggesting they were going to look into Foxconn and their tax practices and some land use issues that could be potentially harmful for their production going forward. There was also that note that all three major Chinese e-commerce sites, so Baidu, JD, and PDD, were starting to offer the iPhone 15 already at a significant discount, some even below retail. So not a good look for Chinese sales for the iPhone 15. But NASDAQ continuing to grind to the upside, guys. Full percent almost here for the NASDAQ, with Apple lagging ever so slightly.
Yeah, market grinding higher as we speak, but Apple, as you mentioned, it is lagging a bit, up 0.4%, not down. But look, we bounced off the 200-period moving average today. Everything bounced, so it doesn't really, to say that X name bounced, this is a good litmus test. If something fell in the morning and didn't bounce and get above VWAP, then you probably want to put an asterisk next to that or put an alert next to it and say, this stock sucks, and when weakness comes in, I want to look to be short that. So that's one thing. Now, even though it's strong, even though it's lagging, it has been strong pretty much all day. I was waiting for two things, 173, which happened, and now looking at 174. So 73, double top, kind of mostly a flat trade for me. Actually a small hit there because I did not get any kind of a move down when I trimmed it. But the 74 level has been pretty solid, at least because the market has found a bit of a top, like the 1485 in the NASDAQ. But you wicked 74 even. I like that entry. Broke the top by like a cent or two. I got the consolidation short when it broke the consolidation down. So I'm short here 76s. Looks like we're bouncing, so it's a good thing we took some profit out of this because Apple is headed back to the upside. This feels like everything else did. There were so many stocks bouncing off major support levels or testing 200-period moving averages, and the futures back off some key levels as well. So I think we're getting that kind of relief, like everyone felt doom and gloom, so we had the reversal today. What happens going into the close? We close off highs. How do we hold up the rest of the week when we actually get some big tech earnings is going to be the key. Today just feels like a relief rally from some of the doldrums that we've had before. But if we start taking out some of these tops, I'll believe a little bit more than that.
Yeah, we've been, so Apple is, like I said, well, actually, Apple and AMD are within pennies of each other for me here today. We started shorting Apple. We haven't been in it since the beginning of the day. So this is kind of the trade that if you were with me earlier, you know all about this. We shorted it, was a huge trade. Shorted again was another good one, and now you're up to 174. We wrote down that we wanted a 173 short in Apple. Well, now I'm flipping that script and thinking about long now 173. So I don't know, the market's up. Why not? I mean, we're well above the 50-period moving average, or sorry, VWAP right now. This is just a 1-minute chart. We're at the 50-period moving average. I like this long until we break back a little bit below here, 14,750, 14,750. So I will look to get some Apple long down near 173. That's going to be my next trade. I know I'm net short everything right now, just to talk about the SPY. We hopped right into the SPY and really traded it. Like, we got some bangers off on that one, man. I mean, right now we're $1.20 in the money. That trade right there is short 423, out 422. So, you know, $1.80 or so. Let's just wait to see what happens now. We'll short if we get back up here, but I'm going to ease off on these shorts now as this market is starting to go back up, way back up to the upside. This is a minute chart. It's like 5 or 6 candles straight to the upside. So let's see. Nice move. The NASDAQ is up, guys, like 350 points from the bottom. Like, it's been an absolutely monster day here for the longs if you caught that bottom move. So short early, short again right now, but we only have 20% left of this trade, or actually less than that, 15% left of this trade, and we'll talk about our other ones as we go. But Intel, man, Intel was very good trade, and we're still in it right now, as you can see, short 35 and change. We'll get to that when we start talking about the chips.
Yeah, here's part of the reason, it seems like, anyways, the market's having quite the day here. This is the dollar right now, DXY, big ugly red candle. I'll show you the 10-year as well. Pretty significant reversal candle coming. This is the bond, so think about it upside down, essentially, for the yield, essentially back downside. So pretty significant reversal coming into play. Even if you go out to the 30-year, same thing. It's a pretty decent reversal candle coming into play here as well. Again, this is the bond, so think about it reverse for the actual yield to the downside. Big ugly reversal red candles for both the 10 and the 30-year right now. Let's talk some Tesla, coming off a pretty ugly earnings report last week. They come out with this morning, seeing capital expenditures to exceed $9 billion this year, and then $7 to $9 billion in each of the following 2, which was higher than initially stated, guys.
On one today, like, everything did this reversal move. I think Tesla, it didn't get to 200. I was really holding out for 200 to get tested. I said I'd take the long if it got down there. We didn't quite get there. It might have been close enough, and I think it's maybe a mistake not taking a shot close enough to the 200. But I did put 2 shorts on. I could have left it at 1. I could have left it at 1, but you know, my plan was 216 on Tesla. So when it got to 216, that's the trade we executed. But failed off VWAP here when we took the short for the consolidation. You got to look at what has worked before sometime. But that was a strong move to the upside. Once this trade was out, there was a chance to be long in here, kind of this dip or breaking out that double top at 211. But we wait for Friday's high. I just took it into support. I was actually talking to Fabian before lunch money about how it felt really strong off this 213 area. Like, this is going to be a press up. So I didn't reload the trade. It was actually away from my desk. But Tesla, it just feels as if today is that relief rally, and the big question is going to be, what do we do tomorrow? Because you're going to close. If we close here, you're at the 200-period moving average. You haven't even recovered that just yet. I was even talking to Randy saying, I'm not completely convinced that we aren't still headed down to and below 200 at this point, because I'm waiting to add to this thing underneath that price, maybe closer to 180. But for now, it has been a rally and a relief rally at that over there on Tesla. Just one note, I was tongue-in-cheek, but that whole, if you're not doing well today, you should examine whether or not you like that stock, because to be weak today is not good. That was half directed at Roblox, because on my quote board, there aren't many things that are down today. And that one, I am positioned in Roblox, and there's really no good chance to talk about it, so I'm just going to throw it in there now. That was directed at them. They're down 2% today. This is a stock that looked like it was breaking out at the end of last week at 32. So when the market rebounds all the way, this failed a breakout when the market was going. To me, that's easy shot at a relatively weak name. That's why I'm sitting in it. I want to play the range here. I think it can break 31 and get down into 30.80, especially if the market heads into the downside. So one of the reasons you look for relative strength and weakness is because it can give you a bit of an edge. I find it helps having a quote board up, or having like the scanners that we do on Trade Ideas also give you access to looking at some different names that might not have been on your radar, but once you note how strong this market is, you see that weakness or how weak it was last week, and you find kernels of strength. These kind of things are out there for you.
All right, so we're actually right now in the money $1.20 on the Tesla short. So it's printing. We've been shorting it pretty much all the way. I mean, it's been fine. Been getting it out. We got stopped out just on that initial break there of 216, which was pretty good because it went up to 217 almost. But then we got back short once it took 217, and you can see right now we're short at 215.80 and looking for a little bit lower. I actually put a bit at 214 flat right there, but I wonder if this market does break, where do we go? And like, so I already was staring at this thing $3 in the money and didn't take it, right? So yeah, that might have been a bad move, but I'm gonna actually cancel my 214 now and wait for that again. So that is 213.30. So let's wait to see if we can get that. We're right now $2, well, we're $1.50 in the money on the market. So we're also trading the futures today as well. So there you go. You guys wanted me to do it. So there you go. We'll do it. We're trading the futures right now. We're positive on it. So that's good. And then this Tesla trade is now $1.20 in the money, but I'm going to wait for this kind of a bottom, 213.50. See if we can get back into here. Again, you know, not good. The market could fall down. We're short everything. And like we said, well, whatever. We'll probably talk about Intel after, but just covering some of these positions. Here comes Tesla right now. So here we go, man. We're going to hopefully get a little bit of a flush down. As we're short the market, we're short Tesla, and we're at the highest spot we've been at all day. P&L.
All right, I'll show you a chart here of Bitcoin, because what a day it's been. This is a daily time frame, in fact. So 1, 2, 3, 4, now 5 days in a row, straight upside. We're above 31. Testing these July and June levels coming into play. As far as individual equities are concerned, there really wasn't much as far as news catalysts this morning outside of this week and a half now long move for some of these individually this morning, guys. So anything as far as opportunities for crypto stocks today?
Well, I mean, there was. I just didn't pull the trigger on Coinbase. That's all I'll say. It was a 75 breakout and then a consolidation off 75. That was the shot. Like, that was the over-under for me. And where does it come from? It was a relatively simple theory. Like, you were basically, look at the wedge, just making higher lows into here and sort of supporting, again, a tight range, and then on positive news, just sort of look for the long. I mean, the market was looking bad this morning, Coinbase was up. So it was up a couple of points into a down market with higher lows the entire way. And, you know, I don't have a good reason for not taking it, because in the moment that it was dipping into 75, I was entering a short off highs in the market that was going up. And whether or not in that particular moment the scalp trade short worked, it did. But it's like a small win in an uptrend, or this one would have been gangbusters. And then once it cleared out 78 and was gone, you know, that's something I didn't want to chase. Anybody that's watched the show for a while knows once this is above 80 in the short term, this has been the zone that I think it's like, this is where I'm looking for the failure up here, like through the top end of the range in 80. Didn't quite get to 81. The last time it was up here, it saw 82. So I was thinking it would break 81, maybe make a top somewhere to 81.5. But it's already turned around. So I don't really see a trade for myself unless it breaks the high and fails again up around 81, 81.50. I think I'd be done with Coinbase. 78 would be an interesting buy tomorrow. But yeah, good news for them. At the end of the day, you need to be more aggressive. But you pick the names that you're in. Like, I was pretty much for most of the morning in the same three names. Just not aggressive enough with Coinbase, and good for them, up 7% today, right? Like, this is, you know, this is a stock that we've crapped on, but it's relatively strong right now, and it has failed to break down when the market has been weak. It has a decent short interest. That's exactly the set of conditions. Hey, that could take it maybe through this 80. I think if this stock sniffs the hundreds again, I do not want to forget about that 112 short, but that's a long ways away.
All right, yeah, I didn't trade any crypto names today, but I want to get over this. We had Intel at the high of the day. Intel ripped up here. I don't know what it was doing this, but it was just tick, 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 boom. It went all the way to the upside. It hit my scanner. We let it settle down and then hit the short back in Intel, and now Intel 35.15 straight to the downside right now. So, I mean, this one, Intel has turned out to be the chip names, plus now I'm going to throw Intel into the bag. This might be one of my top stocks over the last little while. So we'll just continue to watch it, man. I really, really like this name. Intel, again, off of 35. Nice downside move. We're short here at 35.12, and it's continuing, man. The market, Tesla, everything hopefully continuing to drop down here. Tesla just bounced off. Like, I had a fill here. Like, I had 214.25. I was sitting there and I canceled it. Hopefully that's not going to be a mistake. I still think the market does have a little ways to go to the downside. It's a beautiful move to the upside right now. Let's go talk about CRM. But before we do that, there was just a little note there about Coinbase I heard, but there's nothing actually happening. See, like, what does CRM, there it is, NY. We both talked about, we will get to this in a minute, but we both talked about this 198 as being a level. So we'll leave it at that as we throw it over there to Brendo.
Yeah, I was just reading that. Delayed apparently on trading on Coinbase right now. Let's talk about CRM, as you mentioned. Nice recovery for this one today as well. If I zoom out a bit, you can see we are still, are we red? Yeah, I guess just. Still trying to get back to positive on the session versus where it closed on Friday. But huge gap to the downside after this Piper Sandler downgrade this morning. They go to neutral. They also lowered the price target to 232. We looked it up if you were with us in the first hour this morning. I mean, anywhere from 127 to 133 range on PE right now. So trading very expensive as one of my lights blinks here, guys.
Sorry, I just telling on something. Look, CRM was a missed opportunity, but I'll defend it because I would say this: 9:30 and right off of the open is already difficult enough time to trade. So you pick the names that you're comfortable trading, the ones that fit into your normal bucket, and that's where you execute so that you don't get too caught off bounds. And then at the end of the day, if you've never traded something at the open, you don't know what the liquidity is like, then you should stay away from it. However, it did set up kind of perfectly, unfortunately. If you look at the way this played out, bouncing off the 200-period moving average, and it was a double bottom on it. So early this month, in the beginning of October, it was a double bottom from that level as well. CRM comes right in, tags that level, breaks it by 20 cents, and then you get a recovery. It then holds a higher low at 200. Now, if you don't have that trade, then this actually looks interesting, holding that 200 level. We popped this one in as a lunch money idea that if it could sniff anywhere close to maybe giving us a support level, we should take it. And it's just been stair-stepping to the upside. But, you know, I defend the notion that you pick the names that you want to focus on at that open and you stick to them. Because a lot of times if you just throw an order out in CRM and you've never traded it in the first 10 minutes, you're more than likely sometimes to have bad stops and bad execution. So, you know, it's a good idea. I actually was just mentioned to Sean, like if this had been at this level after earnings that I liked, I probably would have bought some of my account. But I would like to see I'd like to see the report here for CRM. It's actually not green yet, by the way. So great recovery, but this is still down 1/3%, even though it just bounced $5. So I'm not completely convinced this one's out of the water in this reporting season. A few names have made nice comebacks today. I'm going to give this one like a C+ comeback. It was a good setup if you traded it. I'm not touching it this afternoon. You know, CRM's not a name that's on the radar. If you catch the early move, great. If you catch the dip buy, great. But I'm not shorting this off the top or waiting around for the high of the day with CRM. It's not really in that bucket. I think we wait for earnings here.
Yeah, we wrote it down on the sheet here today looking at 198. I like the short break. I thought that was a break there on the daily. It turns out that it was exactly the opposite. It was support at the daily. So that, I mean, whatever. Our chart reading is fine. Anybody can see that level is right there. I'm just surprised that we made that move down pretty aggressively off the open, right down $2. And then, you know, because this market is what it is, it just shoots right up to the upside right now. It's probably I mean, right now, let's freaking go, man. Spin it right now. This is $2. Forget about it. Let's do this. It's $2 in the money right now for Tesla. It's $2 in the money plus for SPY. It's 35 cents in the money right now for Intel. As we are continuing to move down, we've been posting our shorts all throughout the midday. So there it is, man. Nice move back in for Tesla. I'm bidding 213.55. So we are almost out of this, or should we even bother? The market's coming down. Let's just cancel that. Like, we're canceling right now a $2.50 winner. So let's see if we can get even more than that with Tesla right now. Market coming back in. Let's see if we can, if we fail. It's a nice move up that I didn't even mark down the IB high or low, but you got to come way back in 930. You're coming all the way to basically to VWAP if we can get that. Back here right now. So let's see if this market will go. We're short. Here it is, man. Now we're starting to ring the registers right here. Hopefully you're having a good time. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe, as here we go, man. Each of these trades, man. Spiders, it's Tesla. It's what you guys want, hopefully anyways. Nice move to the downside. Plus Intel. Plus we've got Apple. Everything is rocking and rolling here, man. It's going to be a very, very good afternoon, I think.
Yeah, well, hopefully the overall market participates in that very good afternoon as well. We'll see a little bit of a downtick here for the futures. Currently, however, Alibaba holding up nicely this afternoon. What a bounce for these as well. If you look at any of the Chinese ADRs, EV names specifically, were under a decent amount of pressure in the pre-market this morning. They were all gapping to the downside. Nothing significant. We did get some economic data overnight from China that was a little bit better than expected on the PMI side of things, but here we are back higher across the board. Remember, there's that Apple story for JD, PDD, and Baidu. Alibaba, however, singles day for Baba. So a nice look here for Alibaba specifically, guys.
Just before we get there, there's one thing I did take out. So you'll see I only have 2 shorts on. That's because Roblox came into this low of the day, wicked the bottom, so I'm going to respect that. I'm just getting out. And again, the idea behind this is I wanted to find something. I'll let that finish. Just a little loud. I have a lot of hair in that shot. Like, I never keep my hair long, so I almost need to refilm things because I clearly hadn't cut my hair in like a month when we shot that, and I never like myself with too much hair on the head. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Just getting out, respecting this. If this does bounce, I'm looking for a bounce into VWAP to get back into this name. Respect the range. It's already done bottom to top like twice now. If it gets up there again, I don't think we see the high of the day. But Alibaba was a one and done for myself. We took it when it broke out above 80. We said we liked it if it can hold above 80. So this was it breaking 80. It dipped into 80. Took some inside the consolidation, then 850. And then I just got out when it spiked into 81. There might still be something here, like I'm noticing a decent upward trend, which could work into a consolidation. But remember, this is a Chinese ADR. So while it's doing something that I like, which is find a bottom on the daily, at least a temporary one, and regain the 80 price, I would feel like there's a chance this could be on the way to 82 at least. I'm not sure that's going to be today. If it were to dip, looking around this 80 half, if I see a bit of a base off that 80 half, it kind of works with Friday's highs. You know, that's the level I'd look to start thinking a dip by. It's a ways away from VWAP, which is part of the problem. But with the Chinese ADR, if it holds here, I don't mind scalping it. There's a 30-cent range in there that could work. Just got to be patient about it. So this is into play, and for once, it's actually not crapping all over itself. Good for them. And it wasn't the only name. Just going to throw from there. It was a good V-shaped recovery in NEO. I'm only bringing it up because it was much more shallow. And this has not been able to fill this gap back into $8. So it's trying to bounce off of its 52-week low at $7. I think the close is probably higher than the 7, but that $7 level. But it cannot seem to get past, forget about Thursday's resistance at $7.85. Forget about Wednesday close at 8. It can't even make it past like $7.75. So as much as it made that V-shaped bottom, a little bit weak that you still have lower highs even with this for 3 days in a row in NIO. So I got my radar on this one for a little bit of weakness in the upcoming, well, I guess this week. As long as it's underneath 8, it's in the crosshairs and in the stink list for me.
Yeah, like I said, the only name that we really traded that has, I mean, every stock, Tesla has Chinese ties, Apple has Chinese ties, but I can focus on Apple right now. AMD, I mean, it's all right there. I don't know what happened right there. I don't even remember taking this trade right there on Apple, but okay. So what I want to talk about real quick, that must have just been an in and out on the stop order there. What I want to talk about real quick was we were short Apple right here. It still is my #1 stock off a quick short in the morning. When we did pop to 172, it flattened itself all the way down to 170. It was like a pancake there in the morning, just kept on going all the way to the downside. And now I'm looking to get long on Apple. Apple's been a nice, Apple's had a nice move to the upside. I thought, I must have canceled everything when I was dealing with this Tesla because I was thinking we were going to go to the downside. But definitely right there, Apple 173, I think we should have bought that dip there. So Again, I thought I still had the order in. Doesn't matter. Hopefully it comes back now. We'll be able to fill it, and then it'll probably tank in. But there's the 200 period. Look, it's been pretty good all morning. You know, we tested it. That's why we went short. And then if you broke it, it did come back and look again. Now it's straight to the upside. You don't want to catch a falling knife here, but weaker iPhone sales in China apparently. Not a great sign there with Foxconn also having some issues. And then before we go over there for a read, I did want to just talk about Tesla. Was it Tesla was my order that I wanted to get out? Oh, you know what happened there? I think what happened was this order.
That's simultaneous. I know what happened.
This order on Apple, I think I put the wrong stop. So I think that's what happened. Because I was looking back and I was like, where's my stop on Tesla? Because I was honestly thinking about stopping out above this 214 area because we were waiting for that 213.50 again. And I thought I had talked myself into getting stopped out around here. Now you're up to 214.40. So, okay, we'll regroup and I'm going to look at my orders and figure it out. But let's go over to the desk.
All right, just quickly, oil is selling off heavily here into the pit session close in Chicago, 2.8% right now for crude oil. I found a better chart here for the 10-year. So as we were saying this morning, we got above 5. The high was 5.021 on this chart, and then got absolutely slammed. So all the way back to 4.85 right now on the 10-year. So helping stocks out across the board. Yeah, rundown brought to you by Trade Ideas. As always, remember, right now, get 2 weeks. 2 entire weeks for $11, and then you minus 20% off of that with Trader TV 20, and it makes it a really, really good deal. You get to test drive this as well, their web app version. You get all the details on the stock you need. You get charts, 2 different time frames. You can flip-flop between each of them. Very, very easy. Even all the news down here. Apparently, there's no news on Tesla today. I beg to differ, but go check it out, guys. Trader TV 20 right now. Take advantage of that test drive.
Take advantage of it, get that 20% off, use some of the scanners. Oh, the other thing, we haven't mentioned this in a while, but you know, one of the things that you're able to do in Trade Ideas, you can save layouts to the cloud or scanners to the cloud, which allows you, if you set something up that's cool, you can share it with somebody else, simply by saving one aspect of your layout, or the entire thing, and you can share it with anybody. Like if somebody wanted my High the Day Momo scanner, like it's literally in the cloud, you could just DM me and I could just send it to you, and you're looking at the exact same thing that I am, which is pretty darn cool. I wanted to point something else out here, because if Brennan can pull up the 10-year, then I should pull up the VIX. And by the way, shout out to the community, because when I was whining and complaining about my dark mode on my Binance charts, they were like, Neil, just use TradingView, and so there's my BTC on TradingView, and you know, here's me looking at the VIX now in my nice dark theme. But we're back underneath 20. So this morning we were talking about the 10-year above 5 and the VIX pressing the 22 level. Well, we came all the way back in. I think that's one of the reasons. Again, like the market's having a rebound day, but you just put all that together. I am watching this. We climb back above that 20 level and start rising. It has been bouncing off of that low, but if we continue to flush and fail underneath here, and then TLT, sort of looking at that, like that's actually showing a bit of rise. Like if it does a bit of a curl, then you know I have no issues getting away from the shorts. You know, a couple of things are worth reloads. I wanted to mention this AKU. Shout out to Reliable Rudy, bringing this one to my attention. The only thing I don't like about this penny stock consolidation is the afternoon volume on it. So you can you can see how the volume, obviously during lunch it's going to die down, but until I would get in, I want to see the volume pick up. Join buying, don't just hope that it comes in. At least that's the way my approach is going to be. And then we didn't really talk about, what was weird is Sean was mentioning chips, and without looking, I just kind of figured, because you said we'll get the chips later, I thought the chips were on there. So they're not. So this is where I'm going to talk about ARM, because we're done this, and we already did China strength, so we're done the rundown, everybody. But ARM, had to be patient with it. I really did think this was going back to 50, at one point this morning. The market was so strong, I thought, okay, just wait for 50, wait for 50. It never happened, and then it made a double top on the off the pre-market lows from Friday, where it broke down. That was the missed trade on Friday. So there's the double top. I wait for the consolidation after it, so the Y, because arm's under 50, showed me the double top at a technical level, consolidation short. If it hits VWAP, I'd be happy with this. As a matter of fact, put bid out, because I don't think this is one I want to hold through VWAP. And then back to Roblox, because we're done the rundown, so we're in trading. It's starting to get into VWAP here, so it bounces off that bottom. I'm not anticipating, with the market rolling over off the highs, I'm not anticipating this gets back to the top. This made that high when the market was at the highs, and it fell all the way to the bottom when the market was holding those highs. So the NASDAQ was chilling out up here when it made the whole move. So I'm expecting to look for a curl here off of VWAP where I can find some weakness to short back into Roblox. I feel like this is the kind of market which is generally showing you that if you play the range, take the profit and run, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, because more often than not in the afternoon, we're not following through breaking lows and screaming through highs. So you want to have those curls and reversal trades out there in your toolbox so they're there for you when you need them. There was something else. Oh, yeah. Never mind. Let me talk about it just because let me get this one out of the way. AMC is breaking the high of the day.
Really?
I didn't really have a trade idea for AMC here, and if I did, it would have been off $9, so you can pretty much forget it. I don't love this breakout. The velocity's not there. It's into overhead resistance both Fridays and Thursdays, but I'd be remiss if I didn't point that this is up 5% and going. Maybe if it gets to 10, I even like a short, but I'm not even sure that I want to. But hey, it's moving. It's up 5%. It's going to be on the radar. A lot of times I'd be thinking dip buy on AMC. Something about the velocity of this that I'm not necessarily feeling. Tesla, you're in Tesla. Oh, you got out.
Yeah, we just made almost $3.
Yeah. Tesla's also looking for, it's kind of barcoding off this high. What's interesting about this bull flag on Tesla is it's right off the top of the range from Friday. So if it bounces here, that's pretty darn strong. Unless it breaks down underneath 213, I don't know if I want to touch it. Again, the 16 short was the one. Like, I don't think I will want anything else. Like, the 16 short's like where it's been at. If it breaks down, maybe you can touch into VWAP. But that's now 3 times it's bounced off of the 213. Got to be somewhere else to go.
Yeah, we just we just took that down. We'll end our bear ride right now on Tesla. That's $2.30. We just went short 216. Just covered it at 213.55. So that was, it bounced there, it bounced there, it bounced again. So it was that first bounce that we didn't really care that much about. But then once we just bounced again there, felt like it was worth it. And then all this talk about like trying to make sure that we, take the right amount of trades at the right time and, possibly regaining some of this strength here in this market. So we'll take it out, and we're not in Tesla anymore, so we'll cancel that. And then just quickly here as well, like we're so in the money. We're $2 now on the SPY, and we've only covered a couple times at 423. Sorry, our best fill is 422.75, which is really nice. But you're starting to break down a little bit even more right now. So you guys wanted the futures trading, so that's what we're doing right now. We did that, so that was a pretty good one. We'll I don't know. We'll just give props. Thanks to everybody for your continued support. And if you can, please hit the like and the subscribe. Shout out to Puddin right there with some flames. Yeah, man, that's what it's all about. Yeah, this AIRE, what a crazy stock here today. So this wasn't this a direct list? I mean, I think there was, I heard Sharif talk a little bit about this earlier here. Okay, so yeah, there's absolutely nothing going on with this here today other than it just keeps on halting. The float on this, I don't have it or anything. I mean, I'm looking at the trade ideas. It's completely blank right now. So AIRE opened, it looks like, I don't know, man, the low says 2301. I don't know where exactly that was in this. Maybe that's right, I don't know, somewhere. But still, it's just halted. And again, another function of the market here where someone's going to get hurt real bad. And as long as it's not you,
well, then
that's fine because you're already up 3,000%. So I don't really know. 229. Right now it's tapping 214. So this, and I haven't looked at the tap, but it looks like one time we went lower. I guess we must have opened up lower there and then didn't do anything. Like, I don't know how it does nothing for minutes.
That doesn't even make any sense.
In there between, that's like right now too, like from 140 to 153 or so, about 10 minutes or so of just kind of doing nothing, and then it was like, see you later. So
Please don't trade that, people.
AIRE right now, Intel right now, definitely trade these names, man. Intel is now down into the 70s, now 40 cents in the money. SPY's going lower, lower, lower. That's now way in the money. And of course, our Tesla, because we get out, keeps going lower, but that's okay. We're still short the market. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day, like we keep saying. So that's that, man. What's up to Dan Emmons there? Way move, expect to happen intraday. Try to find a way to reframe your brain to have it over 2 days. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you can hold for multiple days, I think we like the idea of doing that right now. But we can't. We have to be flat at 4 o'clock. So there it goes, man. The SPY just continuously going down. I mean, look at this. And maybe this is what Dan's talking about. Like all of these shorts, right, all coming in and bleeding back into the downside. So averaged in, averaged out, as we made a nice little high move to the upside and still holding on to a little bit of something right now. As look, we only have one. We have one negative stock, Tesla. We took a hit right there. But the thing is we went long and made it back. So that's a nice move in right here. It's been a really successful day, man. Meta's one that was really strong. Maybe we buy this on dips. I'm still waiting for Apple to pull back in. It's getting close, man.
It's pulling back.
It's pulling back quite nicely. 173.22. Maybe I'll put some bids in the 20s right here just to take a little bit of something to see. But I really wanted something in the teens there for Apple.
No, I'm going to look at Google in a second, but SECO just opened back up. SPCE is the name of the company because we looked it up, or at least watched the video. That's what they said. So it's multiple halts to the upside. This is a dollar defense today that I wish it is what it is. I didn't see this until you guys popped it up, but I mean, that is quite generally the perfect trade-off of $1. It broke $1, got to 99.89, like 1/100th of a cent. That's ridiculous, and then shoots back up and then immediately halts up at 117. That is the dollar defense in a nutshell. But do not forget what this did on Friday, which is wholly reject 170 and 175. So I would suspect this could run into some trouble. It feels like sometimes you have these kind of days where these low float runners just kind of go, but just remember where this turnaround last time. So big relief rally off of $1. I don't know that it's going to carry through that 175. Maybe I want to pay for locates. It's kind of late in the day to do that, and it's not even close. If it breaks 150, I'd consider it. But anyways, back over to, like, Apple's making this triple bottom. It's kind of a triple bottom. That's once, that's twice, that's a dark pool wick, and then this third time in here. If it does not hold beneath 173, 65, like this kind of, that previous high, I looked for the over-under, got the over-under. If it doesn't make another lower high, I think this one could be breaking out. But I like a couple of other names that I don't know if we're going to get the dip quite on. Like, I'm looking at Google here. Yeah, Google might be, I like Google at 137. And this is looking like it's going to make a little bit of a turn. If we hold 14.8 on the NASDAQ, then, I mean, Google was one this morning that I lamented not getting in, but that was 135. That was very early. Now I'm looking at 137. Let's zoom it out so you can see a little bit better. 137 was the afternoon high from Friday, so that's why I like this level. And you've already shown support off of here on Alphabet.
All right, we've got a new position as well, looking for some support in another name, and that's going to be AMD. AMD is my top name now of the day because of this trade right here, and it's just a little small one. We're long at 61s. We've just taken some out. We took 20% out there at 68 because my dropping spot here, this is just a real quick trade, man. We talk about this all the time, what we're doing. 50s, so 101.50 right there. We've dipped into it. We dipped into it right here again and bounced back off of that. So we took the long on the way back up. Maybe we have the futures with us now, but again, see how it stopped here every time? So we take 67s, 68s, here we go, 70s. Let's get a 70 tray if we can get that, man, and then that would be just over, that'd be 13 cents, and then we'll see about it going back up to the high side. Ultimate target, like if we get 102, then we're really laughing on this one. So, definitely fighting the trend right now as we've had some lower highs put in here on the way back up in the future. So maybe we bounce off of this 14.8 and unable to clear it. So higher, 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 back in, but a little bit of cherry picking there as it's not a super clean chart. So let's wait to see what happens. Again, if we're blowing it up, this is the futures. We're trying to bounce. We've already got out of our Tesla. Tesla was a big one. I'm kind of just holding the SPY as almost as a proxy. but we know where our out is right here, 423. So if that really blasts up there, then we're going to be printing on our AMD trade, and we have many more shares of AMD than we do the spiders because we're almost out of the SPY. So we talked about that. We went short on the way up, getting it out on the way down, and that's about as good right here as I can do. Like, would have loved to have got it all out here, but we get it out on past support, then we get it out again at the 200 period. Okay, AMD. Here we go. Let's go. Did we just get a 70? What did we get up there? We got a 73 and a 75. Okay, now we're at 78. Let's see if we can get one of those, as now we're starting to pop off. And there it is. There's another trade, man. Just put on for you right now. Nice little move to the upside for AMD. Let's go. Let's get out another piece. I just want to be out of half. So if we get something out in the high 70s, then we'll roughly be out of half of this trade. There we go. Now we are now officially out of half, not roughly. So now we can play with house money. Let's see how high this name wants to fly to the upside right now. It's house money time, and it's AMD.
Yes, sir. And I'm just double checking this in this quick second, AI, air or whatnot. I've already said it's a no-fly zone because the only thing I'd be looking for is a breakdown at 250. And the cost of locates for us at Day Trade the World is $1.67. So you're paying almost $2 plus whatever you risk on this. And it's done 8,000 shares worth of volume. 8,000 shares worth of volume. Let me stress that. You are not trading this. I don't see any way that you can reasonably trade this stock because there's simply no liquidity. Like, it's just, there's no liquidity. It has been halting over and over. For some reason, it's actually not halting right now, which is a bit weird, but that's fine. I think at some point it's going to. I still think there's a couple of names that I want to add back into the shorts on. I'm not reloading Apple. Told you what I want to see happen at 173.65, but Roblox is in my sights. I thought we'd get into VWAP on that little pump, but it just couldn't get there. So you're still making kind of obviously lower highs here. If it can't get to VWAP on the next push and this market gets to 14.8, then I'm going to like it that much more. But you are getting a push now into that 14.8 level. So as that's happening, I'm looking for the short, just because it's relatively weak. Again, I prefer that one on weakness. The second I was on Alphabet there we go. Like, it just immediately starts to go, but I'm not going to chase it to the upside. Not going to happen. Was able to see it get off the 137, but wasn't able to catch it through that 10 level. On the way back down, I'll pick it up. Got no issues with that whatsoever. Everyone playing the slots in there. Yeah, no, serious, Kling Daddy, about that AIRE, there are small caps that can set up for trades. And they can be low floaters. Like, we traded Seku last week. At least once, and we've traded some of these names before, but that AIRE is in a completely different bucket. Like, there is no comparison between that stock and some of these other ones when you're talking about 8,000 shares worth of volume on the entire day. Obviously, it's more expensive, but Siku's doing a few million shares. You know, HKD was doing better volume than that when it was trading at 2,500. Just to give you a bit of perspective, Siku is trying to hold on to this hull price, but I feel as if a top just came in there at 150. I didn't pay for locates, so I'm not going to be shorting it. I thought it would go to 170, and that's the level. The other name, thank you for pointing it out there, that we're looking at, is starting to get off the schneid, is at INVO. This was the halt fest to the upside in the morning before this AIRE was even going, and now look at it hold at $2. I love these ones that hold a breakout, hold on to VWAP. It gives you an opportunity to play it off of a pretty tight stop level. And if it gets up to 250, great. Just looking for the next little dip in here to 2. Grab 10s, 15s. If it makes it through the quarters, you're already better than 1-to-1 on a break of that level. And then you can work it into 250. So just going to jump on VWAP here. I always like to have a hard stop. It'll be barely underneath that $2 level. Always a hard stop with something like this, because if it breaks, I don't want to be sitting there thinking about getting out when this goes into a downhaul. So always a hard stop on something like this. But I like INVO off VWAP, like when these start to go.
All right, I'll accept Tony Price, but it's hard for me to miss, hard for me to accept all those duels there because I'm not looking all the time. I'm trying to find some more trades. Right there, look at that, 423. We just got hit right there. So not hit, we got out of 423. So now that this drops 50 cents immediately in what is looking like, honestly, the biggest single red candle all day right there, one single candle. I mean, I think it might have been.
Well, since the open, probably.
No, I think honestly, I'm looking at the open right now. It's pretty close right there. I don't know what that's all about, but nice move to the downside right there, back into some resistance. So fortunately, that does get us out of the spiders. We did also, this is why we're taking profit not much to worry about there with AMD. Got in, got out right there as it just falling back in. So whoever was calling weakness on AMD was right. That's the first long we had all day on AMD. So really no skin off our back there or anything like that. But it does suck to have gotten hit with that last little bit. But again, I like it. I like it to the sell side right here. But just thought it was at a good level there of 101.50 because like we had respected that 101.50, and then obviously, like I just said, that largest candle right there coming in to hit us one more time. So, all right, but it did give us an opportunity to get longer on Apple as it came right in a little bit. We just got 27s there. It's not the low fill that we wanted. We wanted something in the teens, so hopefully that will hit there. And then if this breaks back down below 173, we can get out of the way of this one as well. But we're still up. We're above VWAP. We're still above that, IB sort of high there in and around right here, 14.7 basically. I was going to say 14.689 or so, but 14.700. So let's see. There goes Apple right there. So we'll spin it just a little bit. We're just getting a little bit excited there because it's starting to go back up to the upside. We'll take a 45 fill if we can as well. And so there it goes, man. Give us that. Yes, sir. All right. All right. So no more crying about our position there in the SPY because there it is. Nice move back for Apple. So again, my number one stock today. AMD was there. AMD was there, got a little bit hit on that move. So we will add AMD to the number one spot, give it back on that drop, and now Apple takes it over with a smooth 20-cent clean right there. What's going on, Brendo?
On GBTC right now, there was a court order I saw pop up. So Grayscale gets a court order in a fight with the SEC over the Bitcoin ETF. So SEC told next steps to take with the Grayscale Bitcoin ETF plan. So something happening with Grayscale and Bitcoin.
Yeah, and if you see here, like 31, we just took down 31,000, found some support here at 38, and then and the first thing I went to, obviously, was Coinbase. I'm like, oh, is that going to dip to 75? No, look at that. Oh, my gosh, right to VWAP on a dime? You've got to be kidding me. To the penny this just bounced off, it's too late. Like, to the penny it bounced off VWAP, it's right back to where it was before. So, like, you have to be super quick on something like this, and if you're looking for that rubber band trade, again, whatever. I wanted to show you guys the Bitcoin chart and what was going on. A bit of that can be frustrating. I mean, that's exactly what you want. You want to make that dip buy on a strong stock into VWAP, whatever the flash news might be. It doesn't really matter. But hey, if you're into trading, which I'm assuming you are if you're here, and you're trying to get better with your trading, got to highlight our campus program. It's back, baby, and you got to get in because it is November that it is going to be ending. I'm just going to go right into the bottom, guys. November 6th is what they're taking applications for. I've seen a few people in the chat say they're already interested. So what is the campus program? Hey, everyone wants to learn about the markets and trade them. This is an opportunity, as it says, to trade real money and gain real experience. The program is structured for people who are starting out from the beginning. So you can start out with a market introduction and get those basics down. Then you're going to learn about this platform that we are trading on, the traders behind us are trading on, the midday traders are trading on. It's P Pro 8, proprietary to day trade the world. You're going to get one-on-one sessions. You're going to get proficient with the hotkeys, all that good stuff, all the features that it has. Then you get to go into the simulator. When you're in TMS, which is the simulator, you're going to still get one-on-one coaching, ongoing training about market knowledge. You will try to hit some objectives so that you can get to what? Phase 4, get your certificate in TMS and try to go live. So everyone wants to get live. You'll trade live on this platform. You have the opportunity to become a funded trader at the end of this. If it goes well in live, you still get that one-on-one coaching. This can be over a month, that aspect of it. Overall, we're talking about 8 hours to 16 hours a week. I think it's 16 because you're going to be doing some learning on the other end of it as well. That's not a lot. It is geared towards people who have extra time to be able to put the time and effort in to learn trading from the beginning. This is our campus program. It is starting right now. Get your applications in. You can scan the QR code below. You can go to campus.daytradetheworld.com, start your trading journey off, and it is FREE. The best price in the world, except for the fact that you got to put your time and effort in. But hey, anything worth doing is putting in the effort into, and if that's all you got to do, then that's a winner as far as I'm concerned. So shout out to Day Trade the World for doing this. I think it's a great program for you to be able to learn part-time and hopefully get something out of it. Back to the markets here very quickly. Coinbase actually higher since that news now. So it didn't just come a little bit back. It came almost all the way back. that usually makes me want to buy a dip even more. So I'm looking at 78 here. If this pulls back into 78, this breakout price, that's going to look pretty enticing to me. Is this market, I mean, the market's bouncing 20, 30 handles in a row. This just showed us a move. Let's see if it can continue. As for Roblox, if you were aggressive shorting it well in front of VWAP, you already got back to the low of the day, but it's starting to struggle. It's trying to put in a lower high. If I have to trade off 31 and a quarter, then that's what it's going to have to be. It was right to get out. I was waiting for VWAP to get in. It didn't quite get there. A little more aggression, it still would have worked, but I don't like being overly aggressive. You know, when you're sitting there waiting for your entry price, if I'm not going to get out till say 31.30, I don't want to be in at 31.15. You know, that's not going to work because that's way too much one-to-one. I have to make the perfect trade at one-to-one. But if it's going to be a lower high, then I can get out at 31.20.
I was just looking. I was in GBTC there for a minute, and then it started to come back down. It's trading a little erratic right now. So I actually haven't really made any money. I went long at 41 or 42. I got some out there 48s, 49s, just trying to see, you know, if anything is popping off here at all with GBTC. It just seems to be kind of just chilling out right now. We'll wait. I mean, it's not really. It's making a nice move up, but like we said, nothing too dramatic there, as Brennan just sort of brought us that story. So that's always nice to see. So we'll wait to see there with GBTC coming through at some point. So let's pay attention to that one. Okay. Apple's kind of dying here at 50. I feel like we could take another fill here at 45 if there we go, we just got it, if we can get it. So the highest we went up there was 61, 62, so glad we actually just took that fill rate in front of everybody so you could kind of see what we're dealing with here. Nice out rate there. Intel continues to drip a little bit lower. It's funny that we're still short. Like AMD bounced pretty nicely, not pretty nicely. I mean, it bounced exactly off of VWAP right there. So huge missed opportunity for us in that name. We're trying to play, like when the market is basically flat, what you're trying to do is identify, and Neil mentioned this a couple minutes ago or whatever, 20 minutes ago maybe at this point, like relative strength and weakness and things like that. So, you know, AMD right now, it's relatively weak, you know, so I'm not going to be playing pullbacks into VWAP for that kind of a play. But if there were other names, which is why we grabbed Apple, which is why we're grabbing some of these other names as well, we really want to be able to try to buy some weakness, right? And so if we see any of that, we'll do that. And that's what we did on Apple. We're going to do the opposite on AMD if that comes through. We're going to try to maybe fade any moves back up for AMD right now. So let's pay attention to that. Hopefully we can do something around this 102 for a short.
Oh, don't do it.
Yes, my favorite man is back in the building right now, and this time he has M&Ms. Now the M&Ms are on the ground.
You can't waste candy, Randy. That's
Randy, the candy man.
Candy man cometh.
Wow, there's a shit ton. I mean, there's a lot of M&Ms.
I know. It's like this is a full
I
package.
had the peanut one before. Stop bringing these here, dude.
I've already had
Honestly.
I had the peanut one.
I'll take a coffee.
I had a Mars. I had a Snickers. I had a Twix as well. Because somebody just keeps, there's a bucket every
think it's the
single
lunch
day.
lady.
I think she's bringing a bucket every day.
Who do you think it is? I think it's a lunch lady.
That means you're
Confirm or deny, Randy.
No, of course it is. Well, why would he do the whole, shh, I'm not telling you, because that's...
Because, like, Randy, you know, he thinks he knows, like, all these secret things, but, like, I'm all over it. I just think it's her because someone said it was someone from the back office, and we have so many different people here all the time. So I'm kind of just thinking that someone has...
My daughter always
decided
sorts
to-
out her M&Ms into, like, colors to make sure that she does, like, the right order of, like, what she likes the best.
Is that, like, the rainbow order? Oh, she does it in a way of
No, she makes up her own.
flavor.
Well, they're all...
She likes the best.
Yeah,
these
like
don't
she'll save like the red for last. Like there's no pink.
What
so.
is her favorite? Oh, her favorite is pink. Okay.
She loves pink and purple.
My daughter's favorite color is black.
She was on like a level of where she liked the
Yet
color
her hair
black.
is pink. And by
Sorry,
the way,
we're both eating at the same time here.
we'll do whatever we want.
It's
actually.
fine. It's Randy's fault.
Nah, it's fine. It's all good. Thanks, Randy. All right, it's a trading show, but we already got. We already got the bangers on. So, all right. Reason why I do this is right here. So here we go, right here. Here she is, man. The coldest girl around. This is her right here. That's just her right here, actually. Here's the 3 coming in. There's the quick shot. Here she goes, looking for that garbage rebound. And boom, that's your game winner. 1-0 for your Etobicoke Dolphins right there. And she takes it down. The game winner happening in front of everybody right there. So we were really proud of that. They wind up winning 2-0 on an empty netter. But that was really, really awesome. Here's my wife. Actually, you know what?
Full screen it.
I don't know how to full screen anything.
Oh.
There it is right there. I actually tweeted this picture as well. Pretty sweet, man. She used to have pinkish hair. It's getting to be orange
I can
right now. You can see a little bit of pink there. And here's this is one of my favorite pictures. Again, right here. Yeah. Her favorite color is black, but look at this. It was a pink.
I know. It's like.
I know. I don't know. What
all
is my?
pink.
This is my wife. The grass always green on the other side of the fence. Wait a second. What the hell does that mean? All right. So what's going on with my wife? Yo, what's up, Randy? You know,
What's up?
you're a big fan of Marissa. Correct? Doesn't seem like it. Okay. And here she is again here. Getting all ready here. Pink the rink. Here she is at the rink, Randy, at 6 a.m. Getting ready to rock and roll every Thursday.
Trooper.
So, enough of what's up with Sean's family life. And let's just go back to what's up with Randy. All right. So you had a nice weekend. You finally have...
They can hear him.
You finally have any holidays booked?
I know. The guy's
You know what, Randy? Why don't you just come back
You just
when you're
ate
ready?
a package of M&Ms. Okay.
You're complaining about chewing but popping more.
No, you're just gonna pull that.
Oh, you got the peanuts now.
The first time he shared what
Oh,
he
yeah.
was eating with us,
definitely
saw
down
that.
with the
He brought the
peanuts,
M&Ms. Now he knows peanuts better, and so he's obviously not going to share the peanut. That's fine.
What
I
kind of-
I can get up in 5 minutes and get my own, Randy.
By the way, is there something happening like very, very dramatically with your boy Intel right now? What the hell? We're just right now spin it. Intel, yeah, you like that
It's
one.
probably
Randy?
news.
Intel making a move to the downside here, Brendo. Huge move down, man. We are just really ringing the Reggie right now. Let's ring the Reggie and go to Brendo.
NVIDIA plans to enter the PC game, guys, PC chip game with an ARM specific PC chip, guys. So that's why Intel's falling.
Kaboom.
Yeah, and just to give you an idea of what just happened, the reason I was like, there's news for sure.
I knew that was going to happen all day.
Because ARM came right there 49.4. So I got triggered out. I was sitting in the ARM winner, and then it broke the high of the day for that. So I knew there had to be news on there, but that's actually came right back. So I'm always going to get out on flash news. That's why you see Intel down. I don't know if NVIDIA is going to, this shouldn't move NVIDIA, right? Like who cares? Like this is like dropping the bucket for bad for Intel. In theory, good for ARM, but I feel the reason why it's not continuing might be because they're valued so ridiculously that, that the bots took that out and just ran some stops. I'm not going to jump back into the short because I don't feel you should do that. I don't like trading flash news off of the same level that I had it before if it went against me. So I'd be thinking about where would I even want to try to pick this up or short the 50 level. Like if it's going to be, and look where it went. 49.99 is where it went. $49.99, as if it went back to $50. You guys know that's my level. Is what it is, but again, I always trade these. I would never trade without a stop. I think that's reckless in my mind, in part for that reason. Like I'd rather have that happen to me, preserve what you've got left. Thankfully, you take profit on the way down, so you can stay green on the stock, or hopefully you can. But a double bottom here on Google, I did take some out here when it passed a quarter. It gave me the 137. Yeah, we got the headline. Brendan said it.
Yep.
NVIDIA to make ARM-based PC chips and major new challenge to Intel. That's not necessarily good for Intel. And the worst part is Intel just recently broke down off of a major trend on the daily. So while we're here, I mean, that's not good. But, whoops, I hit enter. Hit enter twice. This is the trend line. Anyways, you can get an idea off of these lows. So there's Intel. Obviously, this morning I was like, it's going to close. It is now going to close underneath that trend line. You can pretty much put that one in pen. It was in question at one point today, but this is closing underneath the trend line. I think next stop is the 200-period moving average at 32. So this looks like maybe we're shorting this until we see, or at least thinking about looking short until we see 32. I shouldn't. That's the thing. Like, even if I think this is a trend short after it breaks that level, that doesn't mean you come in every single day and hit the short key when you sit down. It's just I'd be looking for short trades. But let me just get on the bid because I was a bit distracted. I got into Roblox off the lower high, but while that ARM Intel was happening, it got back down to 31. I didn't take any out. So we're going for the lower high here. I think we can still trend down in. was the right decision to get out, but I missed this entry back into Roblox, so we grabbed this one into what could be the low of the day. Roblox down 2.5%. I meant to say this before, but I did not, so I'm just going to show you now. Like a whole host of other names, Roblox reports on the 8th, November 8th. So earnings are going to be real spicy for them because they're sitting, I almost hope they're still between 30 and 32 when earnings come, because then you get to break out of that range on the daily on earnings, and that's when you want to trade things, when they're breaking out of a range that's been sitting in for quite some time. So Roblox, it's a powder keg between 30 and 32, but I'm playing inside of the range today.
All right, so the same reason, Neil gets out on that, news is the same reason why we get out as well, because you never know. It's definitely the right play. When news hits and you're sitting there and you don't know what the news is, and you either have a dramatic winner or your stop gets triggered, that's why we have stops out there. So it's like, I'm going to, look, it went down significantly more off of that, but there's the out right there. And we just kept seeing it. We were just looking, we weren't even on the stock. We just saw the net come through, and then that was the short. And it's not like, I'm long Apple. People are like, here goes Sean the perma bull again. Like, okay. But when you have this kind of a trade on, call me what you want, but that's great. I actually just tweeted something out. Talk about being a perma bull. I just tweeted something out there not too long ago about how, here it is right here. This is from Gunjan again, and again, we're going to try to get her on the show from the Wall Street Journal. The bull market, the stock market has been in a bull market 83% of the time since 1950. So, if you've owned stocks since the 1950s, you are definitely, riding some kind of a bullish trend, but obviously times, going through all these different technology booms. We don't have to talk about the history of the stock market and what's been happening, with basically all these revolutions happening since 1950. You've had, again, going back and forth through different war times, coming out of that. The market's, for now, for some reason, really strong right now. We've had housing crises come through, crazy interest rates, mortgage rates.
Going off the gold standard
Gold,
in the 70s.
yeah, that's another big one. So we've been through everything, and still, that stat, I'm assuming, I don't know, she retweeted it, so I did. I haven't double-checked it, but that
I'm sure.
that makes sense. Because what is a bull market, right? Just 20%. You have to have that pullback for it to get canceled.
Well, if you just look at a chart of like when it's like don't time the market, spend time in the market, and you see the chart that people accompany that with, well, when you see that, you're probably in a bull market for a while. Are you still in GBTC?
No, why is it still moving?
Well, I don't know. Mara just broke the high of the day and is honing in on $9. It's up 15% today.
I was kind of just scalping.
So I'm hitting that one because I don't know if you noticed that key. That was actually our Bitcoin key. Those are little Bitcoins that come in there, and we had meant to put other things in the quick, like ETH coins as well. We just never got around to it, and now we don't have any new graphics for it. But yeah, strong move. This is a deep consolidation. If it can break out this 9, I do want to make sure you're through 31,000. You've just made a fresh high on Bitcoin. We squeezing on this? Remember, Mara has a decent short float, so $9 being tested.
But what was that story again?
Well, they just sent the appeal back to the next blah 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 blah. Grayscale gets a court order to fight with the SEC over Bitcoin ETF. What was the other one? No, it was worded differently.
Yeah, I don't know.
SEC told next steps to take with the Grayscale Bitcoin ETF plan. So again, like the market's reading this that, hey, this is now a little bit more likely to come through. I'm not going to necessarily argue with it, but this one's 17% short float, I think, unless I'm getting the two of them mixed up, Riot and Mara.
Well, they both
have a decent short float. It just feels as if it's Mara right now that's the one flying a little bit higher. So it's Mara's the one with more strength. I suppose it's a distinction without a difference for some, but hey, as a trader, that $9 level looks spicy. Maybe the next available dip, if it can come back in here. I don't want to punch long on a 9 break. You know how I feel about afternoon just taking the top. It's already made the move. I don't like chasing the move. I like trying to participate, which is what we're doing with Alphabet, just checking back in. Oh, now the scaling's going to be messed up. I got a 130 dark pool print here. I'll clean that up on Google. So 137 into 137.5 is the range, but I'll clean that up for you. Apple's the one. My trail out's at 65, so I'm going to be out of this one. Let's just go to Apple in a second. I'll get rid of that wick for you guys. Oh, now I got one on Apple. So yeah, if it doesn't hold on to here, we're just getting out. There it is. So Apple does not hold on. I have a wick, clean up a wick here as well. So I'm out of Apple. I feel as if I'm gonna fight shorts on this kind of a day, and Apple couldn't even get to or break 173 on this kind of a day, then pick something really, really weak. And I thought ARM was going to be it, but obviously that news just kind of changed everything. But at least Roblox is a weak name. I'm looking for something like this that's breaking down. I mean, I'd put Intel Now into that bucket, but like, A, you already had it at the price that was better. B, now it's in the flash news category, which although it's bad news, so it can be in that bucket. But I like something like this if I'm going to fight it. Mr. Long Shorts, SEC told to review grayscale ETFs and can no longer reject on the premise that was held in court. Yeah, so that's right. Like they have to have reasons for rejecting. You can't just abjectly do it, and that's good for all in the space at this particular moment. So, you know, I'm not gonna try and short any of those. You know, I'm not shorting any of the crypto names this afternoon. I'd rather look for places to jump into the long. ARM was wild. Again, like now it's back up at the 50 level. In a situation like that, you have to know you're going to get slipped, but I'd rather get slipped than not have a stop. Like I got slipped by how much there? Like 15 cents. Usually maybe it would have been 5 or 10, but that's well worth it because if you don't have a stop there, you're just screwed. And that's a trade that was breaking down and doing everything like it's going to go to VWAP and then you're out. So it's at 50. The question is, do I like an old level just because it's there when this was just positive news for them? Probably not. I'm just going to stay away from it. Too wild here, unless you're looking for the long. This is now clearing out that 50 level. I'd have been looking for a fail at 50 anyways, and I don't know if you see this, but I don't see it failing off the 50 level right now.
All right, we're which failing? Wow. Oh, ARM. Oh,
like
wow.
look at this thing. It's on fire. It still has 100 PE, but whatever.
Yeah, that won't be for long after next earnings. All right, let's go like this, right there. All right, so we'll hit Apple. I know Neil just worked his way through that a little bit. We took the long on that dip, so we're now getting close to being out. We're now out of 80% as it's basically where Neil's out. We're basically looking at the same levels. So I got out. Let's see if it floats back in. Could do that. We still don't mind the long here on Apple, so we'll still try to stay strong and long with Apple. And then we flipped over to an AMD bit short. Sorry, we are now short right there at 101.05. We've been short this name all day, except for what we just did right here at 101.50. We lost it. Then it came back down. So I don't know if we want to build like a longer position here. I just mean longer time frame, not longa. But what is the market? So the thing is that I'm trying to battle with right now, obviously, look at AMD on that little bit of a flash crash in the market there. It didn't even flash crash. The market just kind of broke, went up and came back in. That was about 10 minutes ago or so. But look what AMD did. Like AMD was like, and I know this is the Intel.
It's got to be, yeah.
No, it is for sure. But okay, well right there, all right, let's just go. Bang. Okay, we'll take 10 cents. Wait. All right, Intel's so there it is, but it's just like that. Like there's not, what I'm trying to get at here, is there's not much liquidity. Like all the way to 102, everyone cancels their orders. Oh, it's not an AMD story. Okay, then it falls right back to sort of join what it was thinking about doing. Oh, now it's an NVIDIA. Like this just went from 102 to $100.50. So $1.50 in a minute there. So that's what made me think, okay, the liquidity scaring is both ways. But if this is already red on the day, what if the market loses, right? Which is happening right now. So we'll go fail on that one, and then we'll say thank you to DJ right now because it is. Another one. And then we just gave you. Another one. So, you know, hopefully this just comes in like here's 20 cents right now. We'll put a bid out there, take 20 cents. We stopped them. We crossed up to 85 there, and then it just bumped 5-6 pennies. That's okay. Comes back in. We get it right there. Out some at 85 for 20 cents. So right now, man, it's just stacking it up right now. Some of you like this little cow emoji thing right there. So there it is right there. We'll do that one more time as AMD. Let's go. We just put it on. It's 30 cents. Welcome to the wild side.
Yeah, welcome to the wild side. I'm just going to go right to Intel. Forget about this. Like, this is the stock that's really, it's absolutely running to the downside now. Apologies for that wick. I keep cleaning these up, and then they're just coming out of nowhere in the woodworks. But it's underneath 34. Your local bottom is 33.65. So that's here. It hasn't really breached it. It's consolidating. I want 34s. If I can't get it, fair enough. But the market, like here's what the market's doing. You can see what Intel's doing and why that is probably worth trading. The market has now wicked 14.8 like 3 times in the last, just since we've come on. This has now wicked that 14.8 pretty much exactly without breaking. So every time it gets up there, probably worth taking it out. I did not just take out all of Alphabet. The next time it gets to that high or we touch 14, I'm just going to get it out and rinse and repeat. I want to do the same thing with Roblox, the next pop, if it does pop, I suppose. But I want this short on Intel. Like, show me that the news isn't that you're going to continue to fall, and then we can work with it. There's plenty of room for this to go.
What is Intel doing? Oh my God, damn it!
Like, the thing is, like, it's right at previous support on the daily, which is this 33.60. Like, if it doesn't hold this, like, this could easily, like, why couldn't it get down to $33 even? Like, why not? That's the question I'm asking myself. So, now zooming out even further to the daily chart, I'm like, why don't I like it down here, giving it to the 75 level? I'm waiting for 34 is because that's where I missed. But the next trade is going to the daily. Looking at it here, it's at the previous bottom. If it fails that, you could easily be down to the even dollar. So to me, it's a short till it's not. ARM, I don't know. Like, again, sometimes you've just got to say to yourself, sure, I like the short at 50 on ARM, but that literally, it just doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter. Flash news happened. If you just blindly say, yeah, I still like that price level, it's a good one, it's just, you're screwed. The stock is now completely out of hand, although it's finally starting to pull back in there. So you're seeing a bit of a dip. I don't wonder if you don't treat the 50 in the other way. Like maybe 50 turns into some support here. And I'm still looking for Mara in the 880 range, but Mara just doesn't want to get there. Like I'm looking for Mara down here for a dip buy. Doesn't seem to want to go. INVO might get a second chance at VWAP here. This was, again, the crypto thing happened, and then the ARM stop out happened, and I went away from INVO, dip buy into VWAP, and then it went down into VWAP. Maybe it gets there again. I'd hate to have to chase something like this because I wanted it off the $2 level, unfortunately. But I missed my chance, but that was just being distracted by flash news.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we're a little bit sad that obviously we had Intel. You can see by the chart here. But at the same time, wow, like the news came out and I was like, okay, I got to get it out, and we did. We shouldn't have. But what it's allowed me to do is get a little bit more in right here. So here's AMD. AMD made that move to the downside. It's now coming back in completely, all the way back to test that flash news level right there. So if we can get a bid now at 62, I think we should do that, man. Put 35 cents in our pocket. We do also exit right here with a little bit of cash coming back in for Apple right now as that's coming back in. Like I said, man, it's been a big day for me. You can see that clearly, that some of these winners are coming in. NVIDIA to make ARM-based PC chips in major new challenge, to Intel. So, all right, so that's not going to be good for Intel as we can continue to see that one.
Not at all.
I would have liked to short that ARM at 51.50, but I think you guys are right and Neil's right. It's like it's earnings day right now on Intel, right? It's just floating around. It's doing its own thing. On ARM.
If it won another dollar, I'd have shorted it.
Yeah, if it goes extreme, but at the same time, like we already know ARM is in all of these chips anyways. This is not a mobile thing.
My thing is I didn't zoom out. This is my bad because I said I wouldn't short it at that level. But if it had come up to here, like where you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different days of rejecting 52.5 to 53, like that's a level. It gets to there. I mean, come on, that would be shortable, but it was too far away. Like I feel if I short it here, then I'm just trying to hold it to that top against the news. Like if it, on news like that, if it's that strong, let it try to get to the level. And if it gets there, great, and you get a chance to trade it. But, I feel as if getting away from like your plan, especially when there's flash, you don't have to trade it. That's what it's all about. So you're right back into some of these levels. You're breaking 33.5 now on Intel. The market's starting to come down as well, which is not going to bode too well for that chip name. I didn't check out, there was one other one I wanted to check, but I'll get to that in a second as Intel's starting to come down. It was Micron that I wanted to look at. I just realized I had not looked at them or anybody else in the space. This is probably, nobody's going to be falling more than Intel and ARM, obviously, here. But, yeah, Micron's the one I wanted to go to.
Ooh, our net just got a little bit spicier right there as Apple falls right into your boy's lap, and then we take it out right there. So, like I said, Intel's been sort of on my radar for the last little while, and we absolutely destroyed Intel today. Intel's been a top stock for me probably Might be one of my top ones this month, but we'll go back over to Apple right now. Look at this trade. Apple came right into 173 there. We told you we were bidding 173 teens. There it is right now. Another 30 cents. Look at this, man. We're 30 cents long on Apple right now. We're 60 cents short on AMD. Like, what are we even doing right now? Nice moves here in the market. There's Apple again. Like, wow, okay, good thing we upped our shares down there. Came into a great level, and we just took it. So that was about, okay, I'm going to punch out a little bit there. Okay, we got some 45s. That's hardly punching out. Nice moves back up there to the upside. I'm trying to offer some 49s, and then we'll see if it wants to continue its move higher. Right there, Apple, boom. That was a big one, man. I don't know. I was not expecting that kind of a move. And then we just put a bid there on AMD as well, down there sub 50s. Let's see if we get something in the 40s right now for AMD. Yeah, here we go. Good trading there. I saw what Dan said, that Meta is still holding up a little bit higher, and yes, it is, which is fine by me, man. Let's go. Let's keep on holding out higher, man. There goes Apple. Apple now fading in a little bit, almost as if there's news again on this. It flashed in a little bit back up to the upside. It's only 40 cents, but like I said, when you're doing this kind of trading, it does get pretty interesting real quick over here on the desk. So far, so good. Nice move back down to the downside. Where's Max? He's behind us. Max trading his own stuff right now. We want to give a big shout out to Max. And good luck for everybody trading here today as this market. Nice move down. And guess what? We are easily now at the highest spot we've been at all day. And Apple by far now is my #1 stock. That was just to be sitting there, and all of a sudden, like, I blinked as Neil was talking and then came right back, and I was like, I gotta get out. So we got a bunch of fills real quick there on that little bit of a move down for Apple. Like that, those futures, there it is, boom. Right down there. So I don't know, man. I'm now out of like 75%, maybe even more of that Apple trade.
Yeah, I just got out of Intel because, like, look at the shot to the upside there. Like, you're able to grab it on that short off to 65, said we'll give it into 75. It broke 50s and gave a 40 print, so you're able to make the 25 cents. But once it blows out, I'm not going to hold it 25 cents against me. No. Look at that move up. You've got to have yourself an out. I think if 75 doesn't hold, look at the 34 level, and I can always back away from it. I'd rather do that and get in and out and then maybe go back into the name, which has been a lot easier. Again, stair step down. Roblox is at it just bounced off Friday's low at 30.80. I still want to hang on to this. I feel as if I'll hate myself. Like, the market does not want to break higher, and this just continues to flush. Like, I don't see anything else which is breaking lows of the day. Obviously, Intel just had news, but I don't see anything else breaking lows of the day at this moment. So I'm still looking for a place, like the next stair step to get in, and I want to hold through that low of the day.
Intel's coming back.
Yeah, it just said it's at that 34 level.
Yeah, okay.
I just got in, I got out underneath 33.50, and I'm just not going to hold on to 34, so I got it when 75 went. Google, I cannot get rid of this wick. It just keeps coming back. So Google is holding that 137, but it's not really going more than 25 cents. I'm offering near the high of the day. The market does not seem like it's strong and going to be able to get there. That's the feeling I'm getting. Bigfoot, you guys had so many fills in a single day. Isn't the broker's fee expensive? Besides, I'm curious who pays for those, prop firm or trader. So on a day trading prop floor, obviously our fee structure is going to be very different from retailers holding overnight, right? Like, we're basically just paying pass-through fees. We get a rebate sometimes for adding liquidity. So our fees per trade are extremely low. The average trader is not going to take over 100 fills in a day on a normal retail account. A lot of times a normal retail account, we can do that with ease and have. Sometimes we'll actually not be paying fees because you add a rebate and it manages a small amount of fees that you get per trade. But it's like pass through the SEC fee, like you have small fees associated to it, but it is a very different style. Like, I find that you have to tailor your style to the tools that you have in front of you. So as a prop trader, the ability to get in and out multiple times allows for certain things. And if you're looking for, like, if you could only make 1 or 2 trades a day, then I'm just going to use an example. Like, you really have to pick your spots. Because then if you're only going to make 1 or 2 trades a day, then let's say I wanted to trade Roblox, you've got to wait for like a perfect setup, which is get into yesterday's close, relatively weak, and then do that, and then try to hold for the move. But if you're going to go from doing something like this, which that's fine, that strategy works for 1 or 2 trades a day. But to jumping into Intel, scalping off the bottom like this, or trying to go off this 34, which I'm actually thinking about doing now. then you know you're getting in and out. And I might get in with the intention of getting out 5 or 6 times, although I'll get out once. Like, my stop's going to be getting it all out at once, but I'm taking profit probably at least 3 or 4 times. But then that's a trade where I know if I'm trading Intel, I'm going to be making multiple trades in it because I think that's a scalp trade on flash news. So you've got to tailor your strategy and your style to the tools available to you. And if your fees are too high, then be very patient looking for those perfect moments, the ones where the upside is the ability to hold longer. We actually have to be flat in 40 minutes. Like, we can't hold overnight. It's 3:20 already. So we can't hold positions overnight, meaning anything we're in, like I can't hold Google past that, regardless of where Roblox goes. I can't continue to hold it. That INVO, even if I thought this was I'm just mad at myself. Why am I not? Just be on this bid. Even if I thought that this was a good overnight for whatever reason to swing into, we'd be getting out anyways, and I wouldn't hold one of these overnight. Anything that falls into the reverse split, randomly breaking out bucket, like that's the kind of thing where unless you are in early, holding if you bought at the top, I think is nonsensical because this stock was a penny stock, reverse split, and went back to being a penny stock for a reason. So the fact that it's breaking too, just pull up a chart of Mullen if you ever think about buying the top and then holding this one after buying the highs. So scalping it, trading it, that's fine. That's one thing. But yeah, this is not something that even if I could, I would hold overnight.
All right.
Yeah, I think we've learned a little bit here. I mean, you could join me in just 40 minutes. We'll be talking all about the recapture. We got some earnings coming through later on today as well. We did have that earnings chart, but I'll just show you right here. This is Market Chameleon. So you're going to go to today, and you're going to see here after market close. Like to sort it by market cap. There's actually not that much CDNS here. Brown and Brown. I mean, as far as aftermarket today, there's not going to be a whole heck of a lot.
There was one name.
It's what we're looking at. Oh, was there something? I mean, tomorrow we got Softy, we've got Alphabet. Everything's coming tomorrow. Visa. It's funny how they have both Alphabet classes there. Okay, so Coca-Cola, Novartis, Danaher. You've talked about that. Texas Instruments, Verizon, GE. Like, it's all tomorrow, man.
It's Cleveland Cliff is the one today.
Oh, right? Why wasn't that? Is their market
Are
cap
you
so
sure?
bad?
I thought they
Might be just
report
low.
tonight.
CLF, there it is. Yeah, it's because it's so
Okay,
bad.
there it is.
7 bill. So yeah, that should be a one. We'll check out that. I know there's been some talk there about some buyouts recently for CLF. I forget who it was. Was it
U.S. Steel. It was
U.S. Steel. Okay, so it wasn't Lithium America.
That's
Anyways,
cold. You seen LSE today?
no.
Okay, well, okay. If you
Because we
haven't
were talking
seen,
uranium earlier, so I mean, I know it's not uranium, but I didn't.
no, this if it'll
What?
load.
But they had. So the thing about.
Oh, it bounced, but it was having a really bad
Oh, down 6? Okay, the thing is that didn't they, we talked about this. Remember there was a big move and it was like, wait a second, it's not down like 40%, but there
It's
was a
getting
split.
Yeah, but
They, not a split, they
no, there was a
spun off.
spin-off. There was a spin-off.
Yeah, so the value
but it's still
there,
falling though.
Yeah, I don't know.
still-
So that, to me, before a serious comment comes in on that one, I feel like you need to do a little more work because I like that name. And with EV being what it is, man, lithium is.
But there's there's the ETF that it
there's
was
only so much lithium in this world.
Was
right,
it
Fabian?
Ponzi? It was somebody else that put us onto that one. I don't want to. Maybe it was you, Ponzi. It was somebody else that was
Ponzi?
mentioned.
He
No,
likes
it might have been
LAC?
somebody else that was talking about the ETF. But LAC, again, just pointing out that it's down 5%. Where was I going to go?
Ooh, this is getting nasty out here.
Shout out to Ian Rispetto.
What's up,
for the
Ian?
we appreciate the super chat. What are your guys' thoughts on Microsoft earnings tomorrow? Best guess? Well, you know how we do. We just kind of look at the technicals. Oh, I meant to pull up that source for the expected move. I don't have it. I don't know if you do by any chance.
What are you looking at?
The expected move on Microsoft.
No, but I've actually, yeah.
I don't know. So,
That
so
OpenAI. Wait a second. There has to be another spot to get that.
I've been, again, if you guys have a source.
Oh
by the
yeah,
way,
I have it. I have it.
just-
just keep going, and I'll give it to you.
Yeah, the thing for me with Microsoft is I seriously am. It's hard for me to believe that the earnings are going to be good enough for this to make a big blowout. Just given what it did on the look at the weekly chart. Like you're so strong into this move that you're getting up to once, and then you just failed the 350 on the weekly, and then set a lower highs. Like that rejection there, given how it's priced. Like if you were to try to go 5% up from a 330, I mean, at that point, like you're already running into a lot of trouble and resistance. It's just you're running into resistance too easily on Microsoft. So I'm going to be favoring shorting pops almost regardless as it goes into monster levels on the weekly. And I think, if I saw this at 300, that's a reasonable pullback. You're only talking about the 50 period on the weekly.
What day is
it
Microsoft?
gets there? Softy is the 24th.
Oh, 24th.
So they're tomorrow night. What was I was gonna get to Alphabet. Did I just get my reload? No.
Here it is.
Oh, I know what happened. I canceled the bid. I was going to get rid of this. I didn't want it to crash on me.
So here's okay, go ahead. Yeah. I have the expected move on, so the expected move on Google and Microsoft are almost the same, so 4%. So Microsoft 3.8, this is according to Options AI, and it's free. You just go to free resources, it's right there, so you actually do not need an account. There's more work. I mean, this website does have a lot of stuff involved with it for sure. So definitely do your own homework.
The futures are breaking down.
Futures are breaking down, yes, sir. We'll take it. But there's Mike. It's too bad that we got out of our futures trade because that is way low right now. AMD guys, by the way, we just put this on, baby. We just put this on right there. 101.05 down to 101 bills right now. That's going to be a good trade for us. And again, we just got out of some more Apple at the 50. Now Apple's falling back in again. We could buy. Let's get a little bit more greedy on Apple. Let's buy a little bit lower near that 173 flat right now on that move as it's coming back in, obviously. So we'll just continue to watch out for that one. But Apple making a move back in again, which is fine by me. We only have 10% left of that position. We talked about getting out when that did happen. So far, so good. Back down to the downside. And we are, VWAP is what I'm really concerned about. That is that sort of that initial balance high right there. So we're going to watch out for a VWAP trade. But what a great afternoon it's been. The real sad thing is that's my out on the SPY right there, breaking the 200. Now it's all the way at VWAP. And then my out on Tesla is right here as well, 213.50. Once that broke 213, man, it was floodgates. And again, down to VWAP. Like, you're a VWAP trader. Shout out to Brian. Like, this has been a monster day just now, buying these VWAP prints off the bottom. So if you're playing that, man, good on you. And congratulations, because it looks like a good one.
Yeah, I just got out of Google after this breakdown in the future. So that's the NASDAQ. My 3-minute chart has decided to go on strike, much like the UAW.
Yeah.
There's my 3-minute chart now, but there's my out. You guys can see it actually spiked up a little bit after I got out. That's now comical. I probably won't trade Google, so fortunately, you won't have to stare at that monstrosity again. But I'm trying to hold till the imbalances, or at least the early look. If I don't get a reload on Roblox, I'm going to be thinking about holding to those imbalances. 31, maybe that was the re-entry point and I just missed it. But I don't want to short the bottom. Again, 330, shorting the bottom, not my cup of tea, not going to do it. But we'll just hang on to it. Just got to be patient with it. So I was patient here. I don't want to get out unless we absolutely have to. We kind of got away from the crypto story there as a lot was going on. Coinbase, is there anything available left? There we go. There we go. It's right back at VWAP.
Slow down.
Obviously, VWAP, I like VWAP the first time. This is a bit of a different circumstance. Taking VWAP before was when the market was holding the highs. Now it's breaking down. Yeah, Bitcoin, like BTC, actually just failed the top. So it got to the high from earlier in the day, and it just pulled back off of it. No, I don't want to buy VWAP on Coinbase. I'm not going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from that one. No need to jump into that trade. I would rather be looking for shorts now than try and forcing on, even if it was a strong name. I'd just rather be looking for shorts. Intel is at 34. That was weird. There we go. Yeah, Intel coming back into 34. That looks like it can be something. Obviously a bit of a relief rally, but on flash news, you can expect that. But back into this 34. The last time it got here, you saw 34.08. So if you can get in on the north side of 34, it's maybe less, like 5 cents worth of risk. But if you're out in front of 34, you're risking 10 to 15 pennies, which is okay given the amount of volatility that's had in. I'd rather be getting filled at the 34 level. And if it takes out this high, I would just wait for VWAP. I don't really want to be long Intel with only 30 minutes to go. I'd rather play in the direction of the news if I have to, just given that the other people have to hold overnight. And don't forget, Intel reports too. I want to say aftermarket on Thursday. 26th, aftermarket.
Yeah, that's
today's
right.
Monday. Yeah,
right.
Aftermarket on Thursday. So, I mean, with that news and earnings upcoming, I feel as if, there might be some people trying to get out of this late.
All right. Okay, so let's, I'm just trying to do a little bit of work here, as you guys know. We did take Apple long again at 173.11. We only got some out there at 18. That's about as high as it went. So we'll wait again to see if Apple can get into there. Now I'm offering 19s because, you know, so creative. And then we'll wait to see about a little bit higher, obviously. We're going to get out if it breaks 173. So this is like plus slippage, like 15 cents or so. Let's see where the market is again here. See, like you're just sort of bouncing around. You're very, very close. The market's not going to give back everything it made, right? It's 330. We're going to get that.
Not everything.
No, well, no. Yeah, hopefully not. But it still has a little ways to go if we are going to go back into flat. And first of all, it needs to break VWAP, which wouldn't even put us flat yet. So that would be nice. And then we worry about that 300-point retrieval all the way back down. We had that bottom today of 14,515. High of 14,854, 515,854. So 340 handles upside. Yeah, you know, no wonder, now that I think about it, no wonder we were shorting everything back in. Damn it. That's too bad that didn't hit for us on that. And it's too bad that we dumped out Tesla as well. But still, happy with everything. Nice moves. Can't be mad when we're literally at the highest spot. And it's been kicked off right now by Apple. So Apple was a really good trade for us in the last little while. So far, so good. Let's just quickly talk about Cleveland Cliffs because this is the one that's coming through today after earnings. I'll go back to that website and find the possible move on this one. But you've been bouncing off of 14. So I feel like that's not a horrible look there for 14 on CLF. So we'll wait to see if that can come through. And then 15 is your 50 period. So you're kind of stuck in the middle. I do not advise trading anything right when those earnings drop. We will get you know, the conference call and everything like that. So join me in just a half hour as we'll talk about that. Brendan just gave us the amazing news of 13 million to buy. So that is real light, real light. On the futures and on the imbalance locator as Apple's down there at 173 right now. Let's just buy a little bit to buy back what we hear. I'll put Apple on so we can see this quickly. We just bought some O2s there on the bottom. Let's get something out at 10 if we can.
Market be tanking.
Yeah, market be going to the downside right now. Okay, we just got some out there. That was okay. Gold, Enbridge down here, Uber. These are all, again, bigger names. Okay. All right, I have to. Sorry, guys.
Some of those are always there. I can go through. Like,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
NCLH. I mean, the names that are at the top over a million.
Morgan.
Those have been showing up every single day. JP Morgan is getting its absolute you-know-what kicked in beneath 72. The stock hits once it's underneath $68. I'm really thinking about where I want to pick it up, but I don't like it. It's now calmed down. Obviously, the earnings have come through for the banks.
Oh, I have a bad wick.
It's getting destroyed. What was I? It was something I wanted to get to. Oh, we had a question. We had a question in the chat about what kind of chair we sit in because one of our viewers has a bad back. Most of the people behind us have Herman Miller. I know some people swear by those. To be honest with you, Brendan, Sean, and I, when we knew we were going to be sitting in these seats doing the show for a while, we actually went to a Best Buy, found the one that was the most comfortable for us to sit in, and we bought it. I just don't remember the brand of this. So I don't remember.
It's a very, very generic, cheap
I think it's like a cheap, generic brand, but trust me, it was like the most comfortable thing that we could find to sit in all day.
Yeah. But it's good.
It's really good. I just don't remember the brand. And if I find it, then like message me and I'll let you know. Let's go to Brendan at the desk.
I think it's Baidu.
Just seeing a note here, guys, on Google. Moody's and Google apparently going to explore using generative AI for financial insights. I mean, not doing anything, obviously, but Google going to team up with Moody's for that.
Okay, that's interesting.
AI, never heard of it?
AI,
Is that
what?
something that companies are doing these days? I think
No,
they should.
absolutely not.
I mean, if a company was smart, they should do some stuff with AI.
Ideally, you would.
Come on, get with the program, guys.
Yeah, but I mean, the most important thing, of course, is that we don't actually think that AI is important.
It has nothing to do with
it.
it.
Means nothing. AI headlines.
The only AI I know is Allen Iverson, baby. The handles. I saw him and LeBron, and they were both super young in Cleveland. And that was a crazy game. I don't know. I also was there for a Browns game. We went to see AI and LeBron, same court. It was insane.
I will say this though, I have so much respect for the way Allen Iverson played the game. I love his grit and just his approach. But at the same time, if you look at his handles, if you've never seen Skip to Malou, Ray for Alston, obviously he's not even close to the same player. But if you think the professor has game, when you look at them YouTube clips, just check out Skip to Malou. Like Rafer Alston was, like there's two dudes. One of them is Rafer Alston, the other one's God Shamgod. And that, like those two, those are the best handles of all time.
The only thing I'll say about all that, I'm not going to disagree, is that playing in the
it's very different.
Courtyard is a little different than playing in the.
Oh yeah, like Allen
Rafer Alston was like a
those
disaster in the Raz.
No, they'd be get wrecked in there.
Talk about practice.
They was a good player,
Yeah,
and
they're all so
Shamgod
good.
was a good player, but just pure handles.
I mean, these guys.
Oh my goodness, the handles were redonkulous. Our boy had some handles.
Rafer was good.
No, I'm talking about our point guard.
Damon?
No, like at our high school.
Oh.
You know, the dude that I destroyed in fantasy this week. I will give you this. At our high school, my senior, we had the two best point guards in the region. The problem was
In the region.
we had like one guy over 6 feet, which I don't know if you guys have ever played basketball, even at the high school level.
No, these are Americans, man.
That's not like it's not gonna play. It didn't work out. And the worst part about it is we had 3 dudes that were all over 6 foot, and one of them got kicked off the team. I'm not gonna get into why. And the other 2 just followed him because they were his boys. And that left us with like a small forward at center, and I was playing the 3. I had to guard a 6'5" guy in the semifinals. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I'm like, what is happening here? That went exactly as you'd expect, but he never dunked on me, straight up, because I fouled him before he could.
All right.
Because I don't care. I'm just, I'm not gonna make it easy for you. A couple of things. If we are rolling over here, I'm gonna go 4 less with a stop at 33.90, as I want to be in this consolidation short, and Intel is no longer giving you fills anywhere near that 34 even. So I'm trying to roll into the lower high here. So I just added into it. Chill vibes, I've never been dunked on in an actual game, not once. There were 2 times that it could have happened. Both times I made a hard foul, and neither time did the guy make both foul shots. I'm just gonna leave it at that. The one guy couldn't shoot foul shots to save his life. That was an easy foul to make. And even though even the guy outweighed me by like a good 60 pounds, I had no trouble. I mean, you got to be able to use your leverage. He's not finishing on me. It's not going to happen. Nice little hard foul. Probably a little bit flagrant, but hey, he's a big guy. So what was I going to look at? There was something else. I didn't undercut him. I fouled him before he could get up. I would never undercut somebody. That's dangerous.
Yeah, this is not Toronto. This is city outside of Toronto. We're from Brampton. This is not Toronto ball, guys. So, but Brampton was pretty competitive, man. We've had some good players come out of there. Anthony Bennett, of course. Tristan Thompson, people might know from Brampton fame as well. So, man, a couple good players coming through there.
Golden boy.
All right.
Went to the Final Four with Michigan State out of Brampton, baby. Dave Thomas.
Yeah. Okay. I was just looking at Intel 35.16. Now we're nowhere near there. You can cancel that order.
35.16.
No, I mean that was.
Because that's
trying to
what
get more
yeah,
short
yeah,
up there at the time. So there we go, man. Apple broke lower, so that's it, man. Finally, the Apple bottom jeans finally fell out right there, breaking down through 173. Apple still my #1 stock today. AMD testing it though with another 77 cents in. Look, it's 337. We've had some. We've had some bang. Oh, we have a button for that. Some bangers on here today as we go down to 420 right now on the SPY as that's coming in one more time for us. So far, so good, man. Huge move. Let's just keep the guy going all the way back down to the downside. Hopefully it continues here as the futures. I'm not sure. Like I said, VWAP is kind of where we're talking about right now, and that's what we got to wait for if we're going to start to buy any of these dips. I did want to see about that Google trade. We're going to go for an ad read in 1 second. So I know Brendan brought that news about Moody's and AI, and that got us going about AI, but 136, it's still making a move down. Although relatively strong today, Google almost up 1%, triple the market. I don't want to go long anything right now. So we've already dropped out of Apple. Let's go over to the desk.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and 0 commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
Yes, sir. And just a couple of updates here. We're through the lows on Roblox. So I want to give you the plan. It's at 339. The trail's in off 33.25. This is where it broke out on Thursday. Obviously, the bottom 33.80 got taken out. So, just looking for the stair step. Why? Because it was relatively weak. It double top when the market was I mean, the market was absolutely flying and this couldn't break out the high. Then we rolled into it underneath VWAP, but I'm holding for 350 essentially. Maybe it gets to 33.5 and turns. I'm not sure where the bottom is going to be. There's no really significant levels down here. So I'm going to put the trail on. Intel, which we just rolled back into. What a day for Intel, man. Like, that's a stock where I was looking short. The second it broke out, it's like, wait around. It never quite got up to here, 35, 30, 40, which is the next level up for me. But you got to move on to the next. That was shorting here. Just shorted underneath 80s. It just got to 65. And we have 10 minutes until we get the imbalances. So I'm going to get out of that. Well, get some out of it. There was one more. Oh, yes, it was going to go back to crypto. So I elected not to take Coinbase. Again, the two shorts we're in are working. But I was going to go long off VWAP after the first bounce in the Coinbase, and then the second time it came in, decided I did not like it, at least the way the futures were setting up and how BTC was doing. Probably a good decision, as you can see. I mean, it wouldn't be wrong, but it also wouldn't be doing anything for me. So I'm glad I kind of got away from that one. And just because I want to mention it today, it felt more like a gut feeling than anything else, but AMC didn't feel very strong on its move to the upside today. So I stayed away from trying that long. It felt like it was going into top-end resistance. I'd have shorted it if it got into the 980s from Thursday, but it did not. And once again, AMC is failing another lower high. Since it broke $10, 985, 975, 965-ish, and then today about 960. Lower highs all the way through into exactly the same bottom. So it feels like it's going to give up this $9 level. Let's not forget this is yet another reverse split, find a consolidation bounce play. Almost all of these get right back to that level that they bounced at in the first place. So I will not be shocked to see AMC at $7 a month from now. And if it gets there, maybe you look for a long at least once. Do I still believe a firm to 15 TERP? Well, that went out the window on the daily. Like every single time it holds that 17, it's short term out the window. Actually, it's still holding up, although today I got away from that notion. You know what? Yeah. I still feel it's still setting up that way, right? Like, okay, it breaks that 23, lower high off the 20 level. It's double bottom off 17. Like, that's what's giving me some cause for concern, is that the market's making an obvious bounce today off big levels and a firm double bottom that support. But it's still trending down to get to the 200-period moving average, even if it did just hold that 17 even. Where I think I would say let's forget about it is if it breaks out like 20 and a half. If it closes at 21 for 2 days, I'd give up that notion altogether. But it's still looking like it's trending down. I don't know when it gets there, and it's worth checking on when I don't have it memorized when these guys report. Like, I might know a few other names, but off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you when a firm reports. But yeah, it's still trending towards it.
All right, did not want to interrupt, but we will erupt with another one right now because there's Tesla. There it is. That's 50 more cents in the pocket, so we'll just keep on putting it in there. So hopefully it can keep on stacking. We'll see if it does make this move continuously back up to the upside. So again, we're just trying to be patient, man. We're waiting for everything. There's Tesla off VWAP with a nice little retracement back up to the upside. We'll take 50 cents. Why? Because it's 50 cents. And then it came right back into that level one more time. If we can get 213 and get a nice move back up to the upside to end the day, then we would be pretty happy with everything coming through right there. Nicely done. Back up to the upside. Let's see if it can continue to go. That is that. Stop now on AMD is now in at $100.55, right where the 50-period moving average is. So if we break back above that, then we will get at $100.55 using the $100.50 level right there. We can maybe zoom in. I don't know how good you guys can see this. Right into there, $100.50. We're going to use that as our stop, so we'll give it a little bit more with the 50 period is right there as well. So it's really $100.60, but we'll see if we continue to fade out here. You guys can see we definitely like this trade happening for us right now on Tesla, yeah, and on AMD as that's breaking. Tesla's trying to come back in just a little bit here, so far so good on that play, but let's wait. The market is only a small buy. It's 13 million to buy. We've already talked about that. With only 6 minutes to go until imbalances, the whole market could get flipped around when those imbalances come out. We've already looked at them. We don't have the NASDAQ names on here yet. So with the NASDAQ with a 380 handle move or whatever, top to bottom, like we've explained, now coming back in. There's still a chance this name could end flat, like NASDAQ could end flat on the day, so we'll wait out for that. Tesla's still right back at that level, 50 cents in the money, that's where we already took it out, and AMD's still same ways. So I feel comfortable staying in both of these trades. I have my stops out, probably won't take anything else unless something comes across that we're able to see. And I think if you're
you
gonna
can just go long air.
I was gonna say go long air or maybe
Joking.
yeah, I don't think people would think that you're telling the truth there. Or wait for Intel, because you want to trade names maybe that are moving around. That $34 level that was sort of talked about a couple times has come in and played off nice. So wait for that. We'll wait.
I can't be just because for what's in giggles, Air has done a whopping 12,000 in volume, up from the 8,000 it had done before, and the high of the day is now 613. It halted down at $502. The theoretical auction price is 600. So it just down halted, and it's tapping back to the high of the day. It's nonsensical. What is happening in this stock doesn't make sense. It doesn't have to. It's just a function of there not being, obviously there's no float on this thing. Without even checking, there's obviously not much of a float on that stock. I wouldn't trade it, but again, because I don't know how you get out of it if you get into it without getting just possibly destroyed. Like what happens when your stop misses on a stock like that? You don't want to wipe your entire account on one trade, and that stock is insane. But if you happen to have caught the long somehow, which I think is nuts, good for you. Intel trying to bounce. I have my stop up here at 90. I've tightened that into 80 as we're getting close to 350. I thought this would carry back down into the low. That was the original short that got into 33.40. If we see 40s again, I'm on the bid, and I'm going to try and hang on. I'm very close to getting trailed out of Roblox, though. Yeah, I'm going to get trailed out of Roblox any second now. Hands are off the keyboard. Is it going to do it? Are you going to do it? You don't have to do it. You could just not trail me out. All right. Let me at least get a bid down here. I thought it was about to trail me out, but if we get back down into the low, I'll give it a chance to get back down into the bottom, as that one has been a flush city for most of the day. What else we got going on here? Can you trade some coin? I don't know. I don't really see much of a trade here on Coinbase. The real opportunity came buying the VWAP dip when that news hit. Or then maybe fading it off of 79.5. Like now, with 13 minutes to go on the imbalances, maybe something sets up after 350. The position board is now gone. Still short Intel, but that's going to come out if it breaks 33.80. And I'm short Roblox still at 31.11. But my trail's in and my bid's now down at the low of the day. I don't see myself putting something on. I can't see it getting to a level I'd want to fade, or trying to take a long off here now that it's stopped moving. So count me out of trading coin. Tomorrow, sure, certainly. Coin's been on one. It's trying to finally break out. You can see it make it almost a triple bottom-ish on the daily, bounce off that 70. Hold the 50 period now, make a run at 80 again tomorrow. I can see that happening. Why not? Above 30,000 with Bitcoin making highs. I think it's the thing. Bitcoin's making highs. I mean, Coinbase is doing what off VWAP? Like, what's Mara doing? That's probably the one. No, it's off the highs as well. Yeah, like
Mara?
This literally stopped moving when we're still making
Bitcoin
highs.
Bitcoin's, not doing
That's still, I mean, it's coming back to the high, but this is just stopped going. We have to be flat at the end of the day, so you have to really love something to put it on at 348. Like, that's the reality. I don't see a very good setup here in Mara that would make me want to get in. That's all. Like, if it was at, like, if this name was at VWAP or trying to take out 9, maybe there's something there. I don't know. I don't think you're forced to trade on something that's doing nothing when you have 5 minutes to make it work.
No, you don't. I'm going to go $100 and 36 cents right now. I'm switching my stop on AMD. It's like right now we could take $1. Like it's $1 in the money. It's just what if it does, whatever. If it comes, this is the thing. I hate this whole what if stuff, it's like I gave Danielle Shea sort of the what for on the market recap show the other day, because she's like, you know, you take the short and then you pray for it to come through. And I said, well, Danielle, the minute you're praying for something to happen in the stock market, you're already way off base. And she's like, true, true. So with this coming out right now, I just caught myself saying that, like, we pray that the imbalances are to the south side for AMD, but that's a market function. So when that comes through, I've no idea what's going to come through, right? So we'll wait right there. $100, we've bounced off that a couple of times. We've been lower than that today. We had a huge move off the open on AMD where we shorted the same level, basically. Well, no, we're short at 101, but we shorted this $100.50. That made a nice move back into 98.20. So we started with that's our bid down there. So anyways, if it breaks higher, we're going to get out. And it's basically the same rhetoric, unfortunately. Fix this earpiece a little bit. The same rhetoric for Tesla, because if that drops back in, we can get out of that one too, breaking through this 211.50. So just being careful here into the close as the market is trying to figure itself out with only 30 seconds left. Out spot for Tesla is that breaking of the bottom 211.50.
Yeah, and there's another one there. So just, I know the position board is off, but until we take another fill, it's not going to refresh. So I'm still short until 33.79, although that's about to come out. I was just about to pull up that CVM. Oh, there we go. So I just got trailed out of Intel, so now the positions just came back on because we had to take a fill for it to trigger again. So I moved my stop down on Intel just in case. I thought maybe it would hold out till 350, but it ran my stop before 350. Distinction without a difference possibly, as imbalances have now come out. Oops, I wasn't on the page, sorry. GLD's still there. Kenview, who cares? Enbridge, fine, that's a sell as well. Cisco 1 million to sell. TD, hey, TD and Morgan Stanley are buys. Good for them. SoFi is a buy, 900,000. There we go. There's Alphabet, 800,000 to sell for Alphabet. So far, tech is selling balances. Apple, 650, selling balance. Looks like tech are all selling balances, and a few banks are buys. Rivian, 600,000 to sell. GM, yuck, GM, 600,000 to sell. I'm not really excited for their earnings. I'm out of GM. I know it's a stock I said I used to own, but I got all out of GM. I said, forget about it. I don't even want to hold on to that garbage anymore. Still in Roblox. I got a trailer right in here, and I'll just hang on to see if it can get to the lows, back into those lows. I didn't see an imbalance on that one, so not really worried about it. 2.3 billion to sell.
Yeah, it's a decent.
Yeah, that's pretty decent. Let's see if that can't get back into the low of the day. Like, what did Apple do on that? It was a small sell imbalance on Apple, like not huge. Of course, I just hit it on Brazil.
Got to be careful with these imbalances. Oh, we just got out of Tesla. I did the same thing there. I just got out, cancel our stop order. We got out at 25 there. I mean, whatever. We were long at, where were we long? Well, whatever. It was 40 cents. So whatever. We'll take 40 cents. I just don't know if it's going to continue one way or the other. We were looking at those imbalances in front of you guys earlier, and 2.3 billion to sell. Not great for the long there, that's for sure. So SoFi, Cisco, both there. I'm just looking for NASDAQ names. The next one there is Google with a sell. Boom. You see what happens to that name. Rivian right there. That's with a sell. Yeah, not much happening on that sell. And then KDP. So yeah, not much on the NASDAQ side of things right now, but we will take advantage of that. And I mean, look, if Tesla continues to rip up, it continues to rip up. We should basically do the same thing for AMD, but we already have our stop there. So a little bit higher on AMD, and we will be out of that as we go through. Yeah, join me tonight where we're only going to be till 4:30. I got 2 more kids' hockey games tonight. So we'll have to go to that real quick. So we'll be doing the show, wrapping it up around 4:30. Join me as we'll talk all about earnings. We got GE, we've got Danaher, we've got Coca-Cola, we've got Verizon. They're all coming tomorrow morning. It's going to be a big one with CLF tonight. So we'll see if CLF can throw down something later on. But man, it's going to be a busy day, and I'm glad that we had a good day here in the markets as well. So I'm probably just going to go over there, slip up, grab some water. Get ready to rock and roll for everybody there on the after show. Neil will kick it off the rest of the day here, which isn't too long, I don't think. Got another 5 or so minutes before we go. 3M. Lots of industrials.
Yeah, there's a few out there. I mean, 3M is not necessarily always a trading stock, so but trust me, we'll go over it. Like, there's nothing. Like, we'll cover any stock that's out there. It's not always a day trade. And I promise you, 3M is usually not one.
Cover AMD.
353. I just got out on this little dip. There's Roblox, that last little bounce. I don't need at 355, the market pulling some kind of a reversal. Oftentimes at 355, after the imbalances have come out, that can be a zone where you look at all of these numbers and they tend to pair off at 355, especially on the New York side of it. So that's always a point of emphasis, at least for myself, in terms of trying to get out. Maybe this goes a little bit more to the downside, but unfortunately for Roblox, again, look at the range recently, 32 top, 30 bottom. All it did is show me an unwillingness after breaking the highs when the market was just going higher, 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 and it couldn't even get to previous close. Showed you that weakness. The second it put in a lower high, I'm like, I'm just waiting for that one. If it had been at 32, even better. I think you get even crazier with it. We also had Coke, GM, lots of names out there that are worth watching. Obviously, Coke has just made an interesting bottom. Well, at least it had. Now it's right back at 54. Oh, that sucks for Coke, but it was looking a lot stronger at one point this morning. I got a bad wick on it. Yeah, right back into 54. Like the market's pulling back a little bit. That kind of pulled back a lot to finish the day down 1 full %. I don't like that one bit for Coke. And GE, that's the other one. I might have said GM. GE is another big name that we have coming through. They are not necessarily having a good afternoon. I'm just flashing through these as you guys put them in the chat. We trade a lot of big cap tech. I didn't realize exactly where GE had gotten to because this is my first time pulling it up. Wow, that even broke down today. Wow, so many names had such a great run off the bottom. You don't like giving up that bull flag here, especially for a name like GE, which was already under pressure. Hey, this thing under $100 is probably some good value. AB, thoughts on JPM? Well, you know the old adage, like if you're not going to go up on good earnings, what are you going to do with it, right? I think you just have to be patient with it. As I said, I'm waiting for something a little more extreme on Morgan Stanley's case. But you know, JPM, it's at a support level. They had a good quarter that immediately rejected a breakout. Like that's not a great sign. You're going to close under the 200 period. You're going to close pretty much at the 140 support. Okay, it's pretty linear. If it hangs on to this and regains a 200 period average, that's not a bad little dip buy because then it holds 140, reclaims 142. That's a very tight risk for it to get back up to the 150 level. But if it breaks 140, like where do we think this can go? Like the last time it bounced out to 50 period was this support here at 134. Like that's where I would think it's headed. Just try to keep it simple. And it's after earnings. Let it get to that price. I already talked about this with Morgan Stanley, which I own, by the way. Thank goodness I stopped buying this to buy the great TD Bank. Say that rolling my eyes because all banks have had a rough time. But this is it's still breaking down. Allow for something to show you a bottom before you start thinking about where to buy it. And again, I know I'm saying where would you pick up a stock or where is there support, but I just want to make the assumption that's what people are asking about. Like I know not a lot of people short. That's weird on the daily. But yeah, Morgan Stanley, dumpster fire, $70 seems like it's incoming as well. What else we got going on? I'm not going to take any trades after 355. I see nothing that's setting up. I know we were talking about crypto, but as said, glad we didn't try that long. That would have been a complete waste of time. Like sure, decent bounce off you up. You got to have that the first time, not worry about it the second or third time through because everything is just going to be nasty. Oh, thank you, Vin, for one of my, that's one of my favorite quotes. I think it's at least top 5 for a trading quote. Loss is the cost of doing business. And one of the things that this is actually probably from, is it Reminiscences of a Stock Operator? Let's just say this is because I'm pretty sure it might be from that book, but it's from one of the others. Before you get into a trade, if you've determined what wrong is on that trade, I'm going to show you ARM. If you've determined where you are wrong on a trade, which was this breaking that high, and once you get into it, like to me, that P&L is already gone. Like from here to here, for whatever shares you have, that's already gone. Like you've lost that amount of money. And if you can say that, then everything that just happens is where the trade happens to go at that particular point. But I just say, okay, this is it, the short. If it breaks that hop, I'm going to get out. And lo and behold, ARM bounces off $50. So all roads lead to 50 on ARM, as that appears to be where it's bouncing off of. I wouldn't take this trade long. News or not, I'm not a believer in this one at that valuation. That being said, I wouldn't even do anything with this until I think Sean mentioned this. They're one of the names that a lot of names report on November 8th. It's like a really big earnings day. They report November 8th. Let's see what the valuation is on that day because in the perspective and before they reported, it was like 107 was the price to earnings, and that's what everyone's trading off of which is obviously nonsensical. I can't imagine it's still going to be there. We'll see how the quarter does, and then you work onto it. But that 50 level looks like it's back to being the trading level for ARM on the daily, clearly being an IPO. You know, like that, it was significant for the first couple of weeks, and now you're trying to get back above that. I still think I'd rather be short than long this stock. So I'm going to come into tomorrow thinking about the underneath 50 or this 52.5 to 53. And if it breaks that, then I'm just looking at 56. And I don't want to be any more complicated than that. Chill vibes. Microsoft and Alphabet, those aren't tonight. You got Cliff tonight. You got those tomorrow. So you're still going to have the after show. I actually think Cliff can be a mover. They have a decent short float. They are worth watching. And they are in deal news as well. So, Cleveland Cliffs has been it was actually a meme stock at one point, if memory serves. You guys will correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure Cleveland Cliffs was a meme stock at one point. Now it's just another one of these names, which is barcoding back and forth, and what I think is a good range, 16 to 14. Break away from that, and you can get exciting. But this is the one you want to pay attention to if you're looking for earnings after the bell. Less than 25 seconds to go. Out of morbid curiosity, Air is at $500. So it's still Cleveland Cliffs, but Air is at $500. That is ridiculous, but everything about that stock has been ridiculous. The tap is 407. So that's what's going to happen there. Dare is on the bell in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and ring it. So, just by the way, like Air opens up, like it was halted, so it opens up on the closing print. It opened at 375, so that stock getting absolutely shellacked, but hey, it's still up like 4.9,000%, whatever. That's ridiculous. Doesn't really matter. Shout out to all of you in the chat. It's been an absolutely fun day. Crazy moves in crypto, crazy moves in the market. Thankfully, we're both looking for those short opportunities to hold on to into the close, which were good. Shout out to Ramin and Fabian, as always, doing a fantastic job on the ones and twos. Midday kicking it as well. You saw Dara. You also saw Sharif and Obi doing some extra work, filling in at the end of the midday show so Sharif could go to the dentist, I think it was. But you know who I am. Shout out to Brandon, as always, for doing the best job of keeping us abreast of that news, especially the crypto news and the Intel news that did come. But you know where you're headed. He's got to get off because he's got more dadding to do later on. But going to the desk, it's the market recap with Sean.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining me here as traders stay late, and so do I as we come through with you guys here at the end. Thank you so much for sticking with the stream.